We're live. Ladies and gents, welcome back. We're back once again. Marty's back once again for the Marty and Clyde show. We've been doing this for 4 years, I believe, is the count now. And we're going to keep going as long as people want to do this. And this is still fun. I'm feeling it. So let's get into it. We've got a lot happening and just a little preamble for everybody. This is a live show. So if you're watching this after the fact, you can tune in live every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific time. So that's 7:30 Central or 8:30 Eastern. Prime time for the Eastern people.
6:30 Mountain, my time.
That's it. So tune in live if you want to, because the live is the great experience. Because Marty, you've been talking about this for years. The great thing about the internet is, you put your opinions out there, but you get immediate feedback. It's not like the old days. You give a letter to the editor, you hope they publish it. You put it out there, and then it might be in next week's newspaper or next month's leaflet. And then you got to wait an entire month again, or a couple more weeks before you hear anybody's opinion about what your opinions were. And this way it's immediate. And there's nothing more immediate than a live chat like this with the chat in the side. So for that fact, just remember, we will, for the first hour, just be hitting a lot of these news stories, but we will be talking with you guys in the chat.
Cool. You made me think of something about immediate feedback. Look up Cunningham's Law. Cunningham's Law. Because I experienced Cunningham's Law about once every couple of days. Put up a definition on the screen if you have it. It has to do with internet and facts, and it's pretty spot on.
So yeah, up on the screen here. So what is this? Cunningham's Law states that the best way to get the right answer on the internet is not to ask the question, it's to post the wrong answer. It highlights a quirk in human behavior where people are eager to correct mistakes, but slow to reply to open requests for help.
So wow, that's So as an example, last week I talked about a ferry that was closing in Alberta or whatever, and I said there's only 3 remaining ferries. After this one closes, there'll only be 3 remaining ferries in Alberta. Holy fuck, man! Everybody corrected me. There's 6. And it was crazy, right? I write this whole long story, but I got one fact out of it wrong, and boom, you just get corrected. So, and I should try and I should try and take advantage of that, slip in these little mistakes once in a while. I mean, that's a bit of a cheating thing, but along those lines,
what's fun is if you do, because I do a lot of voice to text.
Yeah.
And I'll do a post on the voice to text, and sometimes it gets the grammar wrong or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll catch it and I'll just leave it because I know I'll get so much engagement of just people saying it's there, not there, something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's hilarious because of that engagement, it gets out further, and then more people who actually care about the thing that you're talking about see it.
Which is going to become important on X, the platform where I'm more prevalent, right? X is changing its monetization policy. X is really going to reward people who create original content now. So okay. and they made a list very specifically, rage baiting and clout farming and all these other forms of engagement and retweeting and just reposting is gonna not help at all. You need to, I don't know how they're gonna I'm sure they have their way of doing it, but apparently really original content is going to get pushed to the very top. So I think that would play well for me. I game the algorithm right now. I've said this before, right? For every 3 tweet that I put out there that are very serious that I want, I have to put 7 that are bullshit because I have to keep the engagement up, right? And so it'd be nice if the engagement stayed up by only putting out 3 good tweets. I think that it's same with videos. It should have always been that way, right? 3 good videos.
So the problem with X, because I do a majority of my video stuff here on YouTube, but also on Rumble and Facebook. Now, the problem with X is if I put my long videos, I put all that effort into it and it gets buried in the algorithm because most people are watching vertical format. So I have shorts and they're great, but they're competing with Big Bang Theory and clips from TV shows like what's that one with Billy Bob Thornton where they're doing the Landman. They're like clips from all of these different shows that you honestly, like, I watch a lot of news and politics when it comes to Twitter, but then the first scroll up, it's like right into television series, and you're watching clips of like TV shows, and it's annoying because like that's not what I go to Twitter for. Can't the algorithm figure that out? But their video platform seems to suck when it comes to the doom scroll. I just never do it because it auto plays the next thing. I'm like, no, get out of here. So I think they're trying to correct for that because
I think so. It'll
content to post other TV shows clips, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Twitter's proposing to do the X is doing this starting September 7th. So, and some of the content creators that I follow, the Mark Nixons of the world and the Table Salt and whatnot, the people that provide original content should be boosted up. And the people that simply retweet everybody else, should just whatever. We'll see. How do we get on this topic anyways?
Because we're talking about immediate feedback. And that's what's great about the internet is, you do get immediate feedback. Sometimes it's vitriolic. It's crazy, but you got to be able to take the good with the bad. And like it's the Wild West on the internet. So if you're light at heart, or if you got thin skin, I think would be the better term. If you got thin skin, you won't make it very long. No. I know people get into the comments and then they're just like they get real upset about it. No, you got to have a tough one on that. But that being said, we'd love to hear your comments. So wait until after the first hour, and then we're going to get into that. We'll look at your questions, comments, all of that going forward. Okay, Marty, you were gone for a week. So last week I had Jasmine on the show. That was fantastic, by the way. It was she's just always a treat to have on the show. She's fun. And we ended up laughing most of the show because Canada is kind of a ridiculous country anymore, and we're talking about the stuff that's happening in it. And you were out in the woods. What happened? So you were fixing your camp?
I did. I was gone for about 10 days, and I did two sort of separate trips. One of the trips was to go back up to our camp. And then since I was in the neighborhood, I went to do a hike. When I came out of the camp, I continued on. For people once I came out of my hunting camp, then I continued on and I went and did a hike. The hunting camp had a very specific purpose. Where I hunt, we are being squeezed in by the government because the government is using the excuse that they're protecting caribou. And they've been demolishing and rolling cut lines and restricting access to the area at the tune of like millions, right? The government of Alberta is spending $55 million reclaiming old cut lines, supposedly to protect caribou. I think it's bullshit, but it is bullshit. Actually, I don't think it is.
I mean, aren't they plowing over trails that have been around for hundreds of years that were plotted by like Lewis and Clark and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So they even rolled over something that was called the Crimson Trail, which was part of the Grand Prairie Trail, used by settlers who would, once you got off the train in Edmonton, you went west towards Edson, and then you got on your cart and you went up to Grand Prairie following this trail, and they rolled that over. But we had met with them, and they had promised us that they would leave us a little sliver of a trail so we could access our camp and parts of our hunting area. So that was the purpose of this trip. I wanted to a couple of weeks ago, I went up to set up camp, but we couldn't cross one of the major rivers because it was still too high. So I went back this week with my buddy. We're finally able to cross the river to go see this one line that they supposedly left for us in what they called a modified condition. And nope. I mean, it was we spent hours progressing 1 kilometer, and I actually did a video on YouTube. I was so mad I decided I'd do a video, and it was a 12-minute video on YouTube, and I got like 20,000 views yesterday on that video, which for me was like wow. But more importantly, the comments show that people are on board. People are fed up with our governments doing this kind of nonsense. And everybody brought up that this is 30-30, right? This is they don't want us in the country. They don't, right? I mean, they use COVID as an excuse to keep us out of the parks. They're going to use climate as a climate emergency to keep us out of the countryside. They want us in the cities. They want us confined into the cities, the 15-minute cities where we're easier to control. And so, and places like British Columbia, Alberta, lots of parts of the U.S., Texas, lots of U.S. states actually have vast tracts of land where people are still living fairly rural lifestyles, and that interferes with the New World Order.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't talk about this anymore, but have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Yes.
So the Georgia Guidestones, for those who aren't aware of it, were these stones in the state of Georgia, just out there in a rural area. Some rich person had them commissioned to be made. The guy who made them was sworn to secrecy and then died later. And they were erected, I think, in the early 70s.
They looked a little bit like a very modern Stonehenge, except they were carved, right? Like they were arranged in sort of big giant stones. Find a picture. Yeah, that's a fascinating story.
Yeah, because I was talking, you know what's really weird about it? I was talking about it right before the major event that took place about the Guidestones, right? So I actually mentioned these stones only a few days before, and I'll show you this one picture here.
When they were still erect, because
when they were still there. Now,
I mean, spoiler, somebody destroyed them, right? I don't know if it was the guy who put them up destroyed them or somebody else, but they were destroyed.
So this will give you like I'm not trying to show off the couple, but just to give you an idea of how big they are. So there were 4 stones, 4 main tablets, and then with a centering stone, and then a stone balanced on top. There was a bunch of like different features on it. You could see faintly in there that there was like a little hole there, and it was like perfectly pointed at certain constellations and whatnot at certain times of the year. Now, what was laid out on these tablets was it was supposed to be the 10 commandments of the new era. And it was written in 8 different languages, which is unbelievable. And in those 10 commandments was things like keep people out of nature, keep people out of the nature and leave nature to be on its own. Keep the population under
750 million, like a really low number, like that. Whoever wrote that
number,
yeah.
So get rid of world religions, have only one world religion, and what was it? Just keep populations. A bunch of this Malthusian garbo that comes out of like places like think tanks like the World Economic Forum. And as soon as so get this. The World Economic Forum for the longest time was a taboo. You couldn't talk about it in the news media or in media. People would call you a conspiracy theorist and all this other stuff. But they've been around since the 1970s, right? Right around the time that these Georgia Guidestones were erected, and like Klaus Schwab and all these weirdos came about. And get this. It was taboo to talk about it, even though they had a YouTube channel where they had like world leaders like Putin and presidents and stuff on this. And then suddenly after COVID, it just came out that the World Economic Forum exists. And then it was next thing you know, there's like they were doing conferences at the events every year, and now it was mainstream media news. It was really weird. And I remember doing a video saying, this was just conspiracy theory a week ago. And then I talked about the Georgia Guidestones, and it's not because of me. The very next day, the thing blew up. Somebody went and blew the damn thing up, which is crazy because, you have these weirdos that are talking about, taking over the world. And then you have this monument in Georgia. And as soon as it becomes like well known who these people are, this dang thing just blows up, and it's all over. It was not really in the news.
Somebody went there, knocked them down is what they did. Yeah.
And somebody who knew what the heck they were doing, they drove up, knew where the camera was. They ran in with a shaped charge and put it on the one tablet. And then like this, people knew, you can't just put a grenade on something or some open air explosive. It'll just make a big bang. It actually took the tablet out. But get this, the very next day, they came and demolished it and got rid of all the evidence of it, and just said, oh, it would have been a hazard to the public. It's not public property. That's what's so crazy about this whole story. Anyway, I'm talking about this because it's so weird that you mentioned that, but this has been the plan for a very long time. It's been put into place that they want to lower the population. They want to keep us into city centers, not allow us to go into nature, and not allow us to be reliant on ourselves. And then it explains a lot of the attacks on religion and all these other things, right?
Yeah, no, and I'm reading a comment. Somebody says, Marty, touch on your cutline video. It's important. The video resonated with a lot of people, because I showed this is our government. This is what our government does to us, right? They're going out there and they're destroying cut lines, and they're giving an excuse, and you can refute their explanation and their narrative like instantly, right? Like, we're doing this. Oh no, we're not doing it to keep you out. We're doing it to keep the wolves out or whatever. I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, you start, and when I'm in the video, I explain it. I'm standing there on this cut line in a hole dug by a hoe, asking, how does this accomplish what they said they would? I mean, the weirdest thing they said to us was, well, we're reclaiming the cut lines because it is space that can be used to grow trees. I'm like, again, the trees on either side of the cut line are already 60 years old. So they're going to get harvested in 30 years from now. And if you plant on this existing cut line, the trees have 30 years or 60 years to catch up. They won't. So in 30 years, when they go cut the trees, they'll cut the trees, and they would have reclaimed the cut lines at that point, because at that point, the cut lines would, anyways, suffice it to say,
stupid excuses. Like, the wolf excuse is dumb. They don't want the wolves to be able to go have these trails so that they can better catch the trails have been around since the days of Lois and Clark.
They're generational, man. The wolves have learned about it. The caribou know about them. Like, I said that to people. I'm like, let's say a caribou lives 7 years. Okay, so 100 years is what? Like 12 generations of caribou have been using these cut lines. To a caribou in that part of the world, this is not a man-made feature.
No.
The caribou's born and has a path through the trees. That's no different than a meadow. And so, yeah. And anyways, I posted the video, and everybody, fascinating is I got a whole bunch of people saying we're seeing the same thing in BC. We're seeing the same thing in a lot of US states, a lot of places. People brought up 30-30 agenda, or the agenda 2030, 30-minute cities, the forest fires going on in BC, places like that. Like, it's they like crisis. A crisis keeps us. A crisis allows the government to do a lot of things. Right up and invoking the Emergency Measures Act. I mean, it's they love their crisis, and if they don't have one, they'll fabricate one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, how are the forest fires in your neck of the woods then?
We have 3 going on right now in all of Alberta. 3, and they're under control.
So they called off the arsonists this year.
We put in they called off the arsonists. It's too wet for them to go around and start the fires. And we did something that we said we wanted to do. We bought a couple of water bombers, and we reactivated the one group in particular that we reactivated is the helicopter first attack guys. Yeah, and then same thing, actually
taken care of right away, and then it doesn't become a larger issue.
All of that have been eliminated under the NDP and other governments, man. Like, or another technology that failed brutally is in the area where I hunt. Throughout Alberta, there's a network of they're called towers, right? Like fire towers, and we had one near us, and they had automated it with cameras and stuff like that. And then now they're back to having a human being, and the human being doesn't cost anything. Like, you can find Larry. Larry will volunteer literally to go up in that tower and spend the entire summer. You give him groceries, you pay him a small amount of money, and he's happy to live in the tower. There's a little structure at the bottom, but Larry in the tower does more than what a computer can do. Because
a camera doesn't do anything if you've got nobody watching the camera.
And even if you got somebody watching the camera, like Larry can have a human touch is more important. And while Larry's up there, he can monitor other situations. Anyways, Larry, I'm using the term Larry. There's a guy back in the Huckleberry Tower. We drove by and we went and said, "Oh, okay. There's a guy back in the tower." It's like, finally, they realized that if you don't want forest fires, it's preventable. It's not rocket science, man. Like, they're not preventable, but you can pretty much attack them quickly and deal with them.
Well, it hasn't that been part of the problem though. Is it like after I think it was the turn of the 19th century? There's a big fire that was devastating in the Oregon area, and after that, they came up with this, just if you see a fire, put it out idea.
Yeah.
And they didn't really go into making big cut lines. They didn't go into preventative fires, like when it's more of the wet season, go in there and actually burn a lot of the fuel off at the forest floor, where it's manageable, and if it gets out of hand, you can take care of it and pull it back. They don't do any of that stuff. So you've got like 100 years of forest fuel that's just been waiting for the right wind and a spark, and then boom, it's a big problem. And that's what a lot of these fires are. Like, a lot of these fires are because of suppression. There's an overload of fuel, and then they become crown fires, which is like scorched earth.
Sure. But the other thing that's you're right. So and you're pointing out that most of it comes down to forest management, and I've been pointing that out, and so have many others. Right? It's really interesting that the forest fires seem to follow borders. Right? Like there's no there's forest fires right up to the Montana border down south of Alberta, but none in Montana. It's like, wow, that's so amazing that or I've pointed out, and BC's been pointing this out too, but I pointed this out last year or 2 years ago. We had a particularly bad forest fire season, but man, when you superimpose where the forest fires start, and the government provides great maps for that, you go, oh, isn't that interesting? They always start at the end of a dirt road, sort of farthest from a local community. Yeah, really, really, really interesting. Like,
there was that 2 years ago where they had the all-female crew go in there to do forest management, and then
that was training. They were training. They were practicing to do. Don't go there. Anyways, no. So that trip was interesting, and then the second trip, I'll just talk about it because I posted a video, one picture of the second trip. So after that, I snuck into Jasper National Park, and I went for a quick hike to a favorite spot of mine. And so I'm sneaking in through the back door of Jasper, like on the very eastern side of Jasper, very remote, and going into some gorgeous areas. And I visit a campsite that maybe gets 12 or 13 people a year. That's it, right? And sorry to be gross, people, but I can peek in the pit latrine, the shitter. And when there's no toilet paper there, I know I'm the first guy there this year. So I'm the first human being there this year. And then all of a sudden I notice in the campsite, there's a freaking little plaque that says boil water advisory. And it was no joke. It's an actual proper sign, says Parks Canada on the bottom. And then the next day I hiked to another campsite about 18 kilometers away, and there was one of those. So Parks Canada paid some staff to fly in on helicopters and go hang these little signs in the most remote parts of the park. It's one of the most ridiculous wastes of money I've ever seen. And again, it's just, if you're in the back country, man, I'm taking on that liability. Like if it's in the back country, I'm drinking the water.
You taking the risk at drinking the water. You've got purifiers. You boil water if you need to.
I boil water. I got a filter. I mean, what next? Are they going to put a sign that says danger? Put out your fire. Danger. Fire pits can be hot. Danger.
No.
Slippery slopes. Like we're going down that path, right? It's like
I know what they're going to do next, Marty. They're going to put tampons in the men's John way out in the woods.
Don't joke, man, because now you're going back to COVID, which are some of the stupid things they did during COVID, man. During COVID, it's like some of the backcountry places, they flew in people and put hand sanitizers out there. Like
where you're not going to be around anybody else to catch anything from.
You cannot. That's
the government. That's the government. But it's a failed experiment. A failed experiment. The Canadian government, isn't that? I mean, I'm sure we could talk about the woods and all that all night, but we've got big situation on our hands. Now I'm on the other side of the border. I love it down here. It's great. I got myself a tan. It feels great. Weather's hot, and some people wouldn't like that. But there's relations between the two countries that are going completely to shit. Oof. We've got prime minister that decided on the deadline. Get this, Marty. I worked in a shop for many years. You've worked in industry, all kinds of industry, mostly oil and gas. If they were about to get a deadline for a pipeline to be done, would you, and you said, oh, yeah, but I put my 2 weeks vacation in during that time. If it was season and they're doing tires and I'm working in a shop, they're not going to accept your 2 weeks vacation. They're just not going to accept that timing.
No, I mean, like we knew in my industry, we knew in advance. I'd say a year in advance, say, hey, next year in June, we're shutting down the plant for 3 weeks. So I'd put everybody on notice, and you need a pretty darn good excuse not to be there during those 3 weeks. Reasonable. We'd still allow some people to go on vacation, especially if you're a staff. But if I was the president of the company, which I was on several occasions, and there was something super important as the president of the company, it's not just a corner office, right? I get mad about that. Like, people treat it as if, oh, I've made it, I got the corner office. No, you're like, if you choose to be the president or the prime minister, you're choosing, we're going to give you some pretty important perks, and in return, yeah, you put your life on hold. Trudeau was guilty of this all the time, right? I always said that, like, sorry, man, but you don't get to go on 6 weeks of holidays anymore. You put it off for 4 years. If you don't want the job, then don't take the job. So yeah, there's a difference between you and me and the prime minister. Mark Carney right now is completely washing his hands of his responsibilities. Like he's vacationing in Italy.
Yeah, I mean,
at the most critical time. Like, remember, like, I didn't make this up, okay?
No.
I'm going to use their words. What did they tell us? That this was an existential crisis, like the number one crisis of the last 100 years. Okay, what are you doing about it? Well, I'm going on vacation. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's the first act of that they did as soon as he got elected.
Yeah,
during the whole election, it was like, fear, orange man bad, he's ruining the country, and we need to be elected so he can fix it. And then, oh, we're adjourned.
Yeah.
And he's doing it all over again. It's all over again. So Mark Carney's over in Italy, and he's saying, he's on limited time. He's doing his thing. I think he's working out some deals for Brookfield where he might be getting a little bit more embezzlement done. For him and his crony buddies, but that's neither here nor there. He's not working for negotiating to help out Canada, but instead they've now the news media, because this is the craziest part, right? This article came out recently, and I have to highlight this because this article drove me nuts because it's like one of those I told you so's. It's crazy. Here's the article. Making decisions. This is from
making concessions.
Making concessions to a trade deal, to get a trade deal when the public's in a fighting mood. Now, he goes on in this article to say that Mark Carney, he's turned things around, and he's trying to make good decisions, and he's trying to make the concessions that are necessary for a trade deal to conspire or to take place. But it's actually the Canadian public that are reared up and want to have a fight, and they cite a bunch of polls that Canadians are like, no, we want our elbows up in the air. What are you doing, Mark Carney? We want this fight. And it's the dumbest thing ever. So much so to the point that now the propaganda outlets from Canada, the state-run media, like the CBC, every other outlet that's paid for by the government, that's subsidized to the tune of way more than anything that they get from the private sector, are all championing now this idea that no, concessions are a great idea. This is what they should be doing. You're
being too nice to the mainstream media. You're being way too nice, and we could spend all night finding examples, right? They're doing mental gymnastics, man. They're doing backflips trying to, like, oh no, we should have American booze on the shelf. Like, literally, I think we're a week away from seeing Doug Ford on stage pouring himself a bourbon. Like, he's going to do a how-to video and he's going to pour himself an old fashioned, and then cheers to Donald Trump. Like, I think we're at that level, and the media and others are going to go like, we're at that level.
We are there. We are there. They're actively, and you can see it in real time. They've taken the hamster off the wheel. They turned the hamster around, and he's running the other way.
It's nauseating to watch, but yeah, and again, it's going to happen, and nothing's going to change. That's the sad part, right? I mean, I wish I know our audience, like, God bless our audience. I mean, I'm reading the comments. God bless our audience, because they get what's going on. I just wish that I don't understand why others cannot see what's happening. But yeah, Carney, and so Carney is in Italy, and not just at a slightly critical time. This is a super critical time. I mean, the new tariffs come in on the 19th. Like, that's next week, man. Now, interestingly, sure, there's one of the concessions that is being reversed, perhaps, is the dairy cartel. Like, I know they can't, right? I've reminded people, like, bring up Bill 202. I mean, like, let's talk about that. So this, you talked about the first things Carney did when he got elected. This is Bill 202.
The first thing he did, they did this and then went on vacation. Like, they rammed this through. And let's just be honest, because I don't want this to be a partisan thing.
Yeah.
Everybody voted for this.
Oh, yeah. That was upsetting. You're right. That was upsetting. Yes.
Everybody voted for this. So your favorite conservative MPs, your favorite Bloc Québécois, your favorite NDPs, everybody. The Liberals, it was unanimous.
Just remind people what 202 is. I don't know. It's
So this is the House of Commons of Canada, an act to amend the Department of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Development Act supply management. This is all specifically for supply management. Now, if you don't know what the dairy cartel is, quick synopsis: they've owned the means of production of dairy forever, and this one of the biggest contentious things with the United States is that Donald Trump saying, no, you're not going to have this dairy cartel and make all these trade restrictions, barriers. Like, tariffs are up to 400% on dairy and cheese. And then there's these quotas and a quota system. It's a racket. It's a literal racket. It's not anybody can buy a quota. You got to be an insider in Ottawa to get these quotas. And it's basically a get rich quick card that you have, like, free reign to buy American dairy and sell it in the Canadian market. It's crazy. But what they did was they put this bill together, and it's probably the shortest bill you'll ever read. I've just showed you the entirety of it.
Yep.
And what it does is it changes the rules with global affairs. These are the people who are in charge of doing the negotiations. So the trade minister and all this other stuff. And it basically says, it says it right here: in exercising and performing your powers and duties and the functions set out in subsection 2, the minister must not take any commitment on behalf of the government of Canada by international trade treaty or agreement that would have the effect on increasing the tariff rate quota within the meaning of subsection 2(1) of the customs tariff application to dairy products, poultry, eggs, or reducing the tariff applicable to those goods when they are imported in excess of the applicable tariff rate quota. What does this do? It basically hog ties anyone who's negotiating with.
Well, we talked about this. Yeah. So the date on that is June, right? So Mark Carney got elected on April 29th, 2025, as the man who is best suited to deal with Trump and who will get us a better deal. And before he even started any kind of negotiations, he told the Canadian team, dairy cartel is off the table.
Listen how fast it went through. So first reading was on June 5th. They went into the House of Parliament. It reached royal assent, which means it went through Parliament, all debates. It went through the Senate, all debates, and it was made law on June 26th, 2025, in 21 days.
That's how bonkers we were back then too, right? This was a big fail. I remember this was a big fail by Poilievre. Poilievre's never stood up to the dairy cartels, right? I mean, nobody has. Like, the only guy who's ever stood up to the dairy cartel, and it cost him his run at the leadership, was Maxime Bernier. Like, when Bernier was running in that race of, well, whatever, 6-7 years ago. But everybody else, I mean, there's a famous clip of
Andrew
Was
Scheer.
it Andrew Scheer or
Yeah, when he won.
Andrew Scheer drinking the milk.
He won the leadership, and then he drank from a carton of milk to like, it was like a tip of the hat to the mob. Like,
wow,
that's awful, right?
Yeah,
but that's how it went down. So this is a big problem when it comes to trade negotiations, because
it's a bee in Trump's bonnet, right? Like, yes. I swear to God, we could have avoided so much shit in the last 16 months if all we had done is taken off the dairy cartel off the table and said, hey, you're right, Donald, you know what, it's unreasonable, bring in your milk. And I've always said this, people would have bought some American milk, but I don't think it would have destroyed the Canadian dairy industry, because the Canadian, like, if people truly want milk that is whatever, hormone free or whatever, then give it to them. And you should be able to compete without the cartel. The
BST thing is it's BS.
It's BS. Yeah. But yeah. I mean,
because I live here in America, and every milk product has BST free written right on it. It's a thing, and they have to disclose if there's any BST in it. And the food professor, the Dr. Sylvain Charlebois, when he was on the show, he's like, there is 2% of the market in America that legally uses BSTs, and it doesn't even go to food consumption. It's products that go to other things. It's
we're on the same page. But back to what I was saying. Yes, I think we could have taken, if no Bill 202, and if we had just been reasonable and said, I think we would have. That was the number one thing that Trump was pissed off about. The number two thing was that, the auto manufacturing and things like that, everything was negotiable, man. Like,
hold on, no, let's rewind for a second. None of that was a contentious issue with Canada in the beginning.
No
Issue with Canada in the beginning, and guess what? Trump would have been happy even if they did nothing about the dairy cartel, if they would have done two amazing things. Because what were the three contentious issues? It was dairy, that was an annoyance. And then there was that Canada doesn't spend any money, military spending.
The military spending and the trade imbalance. He was going on about the trade imbalance.
Well, and it was the fentanyl thing. So,
the fentanyl thing. Yeah.
And the reason why I say, hold on, let's rewind, is because we can rewind back to Pierre Poilievre's speech when he did insult the Americans. And I wasn't too keen on that one with the quote from Churchill, which is funny because now it turns out the Canadians are exhausting all options before doing the right thing. But here's Pierre Poilievre on his speech, and listen to this.
We didn't plan this, by the way, folks. We didn't plan this. Like, Clyde found this clip quickly, and this is all I
used this clip in my video earlier today because I thought
did you? Okay,
yeah. And the reason why I say this is relevant is because listen to how he makes all the concessions to Donald Trump without making it sound like he's making any concessions whatsoever, right? Have a listen to this, because this is clever. This is one thing that he did to try to rah, I'm being strong, but he actually would have made the concessions and everything would have went smoothly.
Spell out the possibilities for our American friends and speak directly to them. Option one, you can carry out an unprovoked attack on our economy. Your consumers will pay more and your workers will make less. Gas prices will skyrocket. You will turn a loyal friend into a resentful neighbor, forced to match tariff with tariff and to seek friends everywhere else. Both our economies will weaken, leaving less money for defense and security, and our enemies will grow stronger. Option one.
Now, those are all false predictions. None of those came true. But listen to this part, because this part makes him sound like the strong guy when he's actually making concessions.
Option two, we trade even more, and both our workers make more. Our consumers pay less. The resulting GDP boost allows Canada to further strengthen its border and up our military spending to 2% of GDP faster. We stop fentanyl, terrorists, supersonic missiles, and other threats. We team up against the unfair trading practices of other countries. Both countries, both America and Canada separately, will end up safer, stronger, and richer as a result.
So that's great. That's amazing. He made it sound strong. That's being a good politician. You say I'm going to make all the concessions, but you make it sound like we're not making any.
Yeah, and they weren't truly concessions because the requests were reasonable and they were things that we were just putting off or got away with, right? We just got away with not spending on our military, and Donald called us on it. I've always said that, right? It was a wake-up call where you go, yeah, well, like I said, like I gave the example, your neighbor, you're borrowing free Wi-Fi from your neighbor, and your neighbor finally says, hey, you need to pay your share. If you say, okay, I will pay my share, is that a concession? No, it's not a concession. You got caught and you're finally paying your share. So, yeah, I mean, I have an old post there where I literally said, just go to the US, buy 14 F-16s off the shelf, 2 Harley-Berg frigates, and 4 Abrams tanks, and everything's good.
So get this. Donald Trump at the time, he said, I don't care. I'd rather deal with a liberal, because they're like, that Poilievre guy doesn't like you much.
Now what's he saying?
Why do you think he wanted to deal with a liberal? Because look, like, America is doing gangbuster right now. It's awesome. Like, things are great. There's this, I'll share this here. So POTUS just made this statement. He says, we have right now thousands of factories being built. They're being built and they're opening over the next year and a half. We have more auto plants being built right now than in the heyday of the automobile. It's because of this, or it's because of the cut in taxes, but really it's because of tariffs. And this is what's really key in this whole scenario. Without the liberal government, if Pierre Poilievre were to get in, then he would have made the concessions. And then if Trump were to put on more tariffs or anything like that, Trump would have looked like a bad guy. It'd be like, well, why would you do that? They conceded, like every other country has made the concessions. But what did Canada do? They said, no, we're going to pull your stuff off the shelf. We're going to go in violation of USMCA. We're going to do nasty things, and we're going to do it in a nasty way. And Trump's like, okay, cool. Keep being nasty. Here comes 50% tariffs. And why? Because it's not just the things that you didn't make concessions to. It's also these other things. And look, I've got all these other complaints. Maybe I should start listing them all. And he put it out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, in hindsight, you do have the benefit of hindsight. I mean, if you had told me that 16 months ago, I might have pushed back a little bit, but I'd also fall back on the fact that we are his biggest trade partner. And so therefore he should focus the most of his strategies should have been focused on us to start with. So yeah, if I was focusing on Canada more than anybody else, you're probably right. You are right. Then I would say, yeah, Carney's the better. He's my boogeyman, right? They're each other's boogeyman. I mean, Carney benefited from Trump, and I'd say Trump benefited from Carney way more. So yeah, it's coming to an end now.
It's yet to come, because here's what's happening. Doug Ford, he can't even save the auto industry in Ontario. It's moved. It's gone. People are packing up. These companies are packing their stuff up. Where they're going? They're going to Toledo. They're going to Detroit. They're going to Cleveland, where historically automotive was, that's where the manufacturing base was. Now it's all over the country. It's all over the country. I mean, I just imported my car, my home minivan to the United States, and there's all these tariffs. Great thing was made in America, right? Toyota minivan made in America, and there's a lot of that stuff happening at the moment. So. He's also encouraging Americans to buy American, but that also includes Toyota, Hyundai, all these other makes that the factories have moved to the United States. And so you're still buying American, even though you're buying foreign name brands. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's coming to an end. I think it's I wouldn't call it concessions. I would call it a wake-up call, and we fought the wake-up call. But it's I don't know how to label it, but reality kicked in, right? Reality kicked in. This whole elbows up, and we're going to fight and become the greatest economy in the G7. All that bullshit that resonated with the liberals out east. Ideology got a big slap in the face and a big dose of reality, and now it's going to be interesting to watch them try and spin this as a positive in the next 6 months.
Well, I've been waiting to pull this one up, because this is we talked about this at the beginning before we went live, But I haven't seen this clip yet, and you haven't seen this clip, so this is a real-time reaction. But this is Kevin O'Leary says he's heading to Mar-a-Lago to discuss Canada, U.S. or the annexation of Canada. Let's have a listen to this clip. I don't know what he's saying.
There's 41 million Canadians, basically the population of California, sitting on the world's largest amounts of all resources, including the most important, energy and water. Canadians over the holidays, the last 2 days, have been talking about this. They want to hear more. And so, you know, there's obviously a lot of issues, more details, but what this could be is the beginning of an economic union. Think about the power of combining the two economies, erasing the border between Canada and the United States, and putting all that resource up to the northern borders where China and Russia are knocking on the door. So secure that, give a common currency, figure out taxes across the board, get everything trading both ways, create a new, almost EU-like passport. I like this idea, and at least half of Canadians are interested. The problem is the government's collapsing in Canada right now. Nobody wants Trudeau to negotiate this deal. I don't want him doing it for me, so I'm going to go to Mar-a-Lago. I'll start the narrative.
But that's got to be an old video because
it's got to be old.
He's mentioning Trudeau there, like somebody's replaying. Yeah.
This is I've been had. This is something that's old.
Actually, I'm just gonna check something real quick. It takes 2 seconds to do this because the Dow's at 53,000, so that's at 43. So that's that's an old video.
That's an old clip. I've been had. I listened to it. Oh man,
sucks.
I was looking forward to that. Thank you, Twitter, for making that possible.
Happens to the best of us, right? That's Cunningham's law or whatever. Happens to the best.
That's it. So it does happen to the
best. But actually, what O'Leary proposed back then made sense. It still makes sense. But I wouldn't go as far as the annexation, right? Like, I think a good solid deal, like expand the free trade agreement and make it like a free trade zone, and try to get to a common currency and things like that. I think we don't need to gobble each other up, or he doesn't need to gobble us. Just leave us be, and we could be an amazing partner next door. Like that's. I think what Poilievre said is
a big failure, and I don't know if I want to go with a model of a failure.
What's that? Oh yeah, no, not the EU. I don't want a shared a new government and regulations. No, I don't need that. Actually, that's something we don't hear much of. Maybe Carney is still bouncing the EU idea. I mean, that's one of my big fears. That's my fear.
I think Canada dollarizing is a great idea, right? US dollarizing. Yes. So this is something that Argentina's been doing. So Argentina is a failed state, or was a failed state. Javier Milei came in. This is the beginning of basically right-wing politics in the Southern Hemisphere, which has been exploding. Who knew that all you had to do is get rid of USAID, and then all of a sudden right-wing politicians would start winning all over South America, South and Central America. But here's the thing. Their currency the pesos had been so bad that he's introducing laws now where people are allowed to use US currency as tenure, and Bitcoin and these other things where you can actually pay employees in other currencies. That's great. That's the beginning of dollarization. Other countries who have had failed currencies in the past, they default to the US currency. It's not a bad thing, because then now you've got like a part of, you're not worried about what your government's doing to, especially if you do cross-border business to business all the time. It's the governments are manipulating these currencies, and I'd rather have something, if I'm doing business across the border, that's on par. You know what I mean? It's
actually it's an interesting, it's a timely topic. It's a topic that comes up often in talks about Alberta independence. What would the currency be, right? And some people fixate on that. I'm like, well, the currency can be almost anything you want. I mean, if I can adopt the Canadian dollar, I can adopt the American dollar, I can adopt a combination of. I mean, Panama, I think, recognizes 7 currencies within Panama as official currencies. But there's nothing stopping you or I from using any currency I want. I mean, if you and I want to trade in freaking Canadian Tire dollars, then so be it, as long as we trust the where the dollars come from. But like, it doesn't have to be a Canadian or an American dollar. Yeah, no, I think we're getting there. I mean, the effort, like, man, that's what crypto, some people are pushing on crypto, but then you got to be careful because we get close to that digital currency, which has also a whole bunch of problems. And yeah, currencies are interesting. Yeah, let's just go back to gold. Fuck that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm all for that. I'm all for it. I'd rather not let them manipulate currencies, and that's why. Well, we have friends. We have friends over at New World Precious Metals. If you're in Canada and you want to get your hand on some of that, get yourself over there. Go give them a call, and the link is always in the description. Every video, I put the link in the description down below because they're a great place. They'll help you out. You actually buy physical gold. You're not buying some gold stock or a bond or a promise to pay, that kind of thing, where any fly-by-night company can issue something to you that's an IOU.
They can arrange storage on your behalf, or they can also deliver the actual bullion. Like if you want it in your basement, you can have it on. They'll send it to you.
They'll send it right to you, right to your door, or they'll hang on to it. They'll hang on. They have a series of different places where you can hang on to it if you're worried about the Canadian government. Forfeitures, that kind of thing, you can put it in the Caymans. You can have it down there. So if you want it away from tax structures and that kind of thing. Not only that, the good thing about gold investment, and this is something a lot of people don't know, is that if you have gold, it's an asset, so you can borrow against it. So once you have that, now you can take out loans on that value. It's a commodity. So yeah, if you have actual gold, especially if it's in storage, it's a reputable storage facility that will vouch for, yes, that gold is here, to a financial thing. You can take out loans based on what equity you have in that. So yeah, that's an important way to do it. I'm terrified, especially in Canada, the Canadian dollar, getting my money out as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's a whole topic for another day. I mean, I wish I could store more gold. I just don't know where to store it. Right? It's I don't even
in the Caymans.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I'm going to sit on gold, I want it close to me. Like it doesn't. If the shit hits the fan and somehow or other I got to go get my gold out of the Cayman, it's not useful there. Maybe I keep some in the Cayman, but you need it close by. So, yeah.
Well, so I would say for that you want silver. Like silver is the kind of thing, like you just want to have some of that, like kicking around. If you have silver, it's not tremendously valuable. Like if you had a gold coin, like what are you gonna do? Like, oh, I just need to get some fuel and I'm on the road.
It needs to be really, really small. That's the problem with the gold coin. Yeah.
They have what's called junk silver. Like this is silver, like recognizable, like coins minted by the U.S. Is this the U.S. Treasury? But it's United States of America. They're the Buffalo whatever dollars, and they're worth what the spot price of the metal is, plus like a value for the coinage. You can get junk silver, which is like old silver coins, like from a bygone era, and they're worth. People will trade them at the monetary value.
Somebody in the comments said, "I'll hold on to it for you, Marty." Yeah, sure you will, Javon.
Exactly.
I live in a part of the world, by the way, all metal.
Traceable.
Yeah, anything concrete is an asset, right? That's important, right? Assets are assets. Mm-hmm. And here in this part of the world, one of the really in-demand commodities that goes missing all the time is copper. I don't know if it was a problem in BC when you were there, or if it's a problem in the like we use copper.
You would jolt themselves, like just trying to get it.
Yeah,
like wires, and they're just like taking it out.
Yeah. So I don't know what copper's worth per pound, but it's easier to get your hands on. And so when oil companies lock it up, like when we're building leases and stuff like that, there could be coils and coils and coils of copper, and then it tends to go missing, and it's worth a lot. Like companies are reporting some major theft of copper.
That's insane.
Yeah. It would be crazy world if copper became more valuable than
others. And then I, as a mechanic, I ran into this a bunch. People coming in. My exhaust suddenly got really loud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because some crackhead.
You're missing a piece of it.
Yeah. It took out the catalytic converter. So in those catalytic converters inside the catalyst substrate, there's precious metals like platinum and palladium and things like that. And Somehow it never ceases to amaze me how much work druggies and crackheads will do to not go and get a job.
Right.
They will bust their ass to not have to get a job and wake up in the morning, and so that they can go live in their cardboard box behind a bottle depot. It's crazy.
Well, it's like I see a lot of construction. You've seen it. Everybody watching has seen this. Like, how often do you see them bringing out a light plant or one of those things? One of those temporary digital signs for construction saying, there'll be construction from July 1st to the 30th, and they take the wheels off, right? Like anything you park anywhere now. I mean, that was a legit concern of mine when I went hiking last week. I hate that I'm in that world. I hate that it's that way, right? I'll go hiking for a couple of days and I come back to my truck and I'm like, fingers crossed, please God, let it still be there. Let it be on fire. Let me have my 4 tires and it's all good. Like I know guys who do that. I mean, they'll take out a couple of, not fuses, that's too easy. They'll take out a couple of relays out of the truck so that it can't be started. And, like hide your keys and hide your relays. Like, that's crazy.
Just leave your keys at the front door.
Yeah. Oh, man. We'll have to talk about a lot of things in the next hour because we never covered anything.
I guess.
We did. I mean, we had a couple of interesting. I told you at the beginning, the only story I wanted to talk about was that Liberal MP who resigned. But we'll cover that in the next. Yeah, we'll cover that in the next phase. Okay, and then I wanted to make fun of Jagmeet Singh again because I hate Jagmeet.
Well, before we do this, we go on to the next phase, I just got a little bit of American news. This is fantastic because, well, a lot of Canadian pundits and stuff were counting on the midterm elections to go towards the Democrats. It does not look like it's going in that direction whatsoever. Democrats have pulled all the stops on communism and socialism or whatever, it's all the same thing. Socialism, communism, it's the same thing. It's just different degrees of which how fast you're going to get there. But because of this, people have basically clued in that they don't want this. People are dropping the Democrats in droves. It's crazy. Even Bill Maher has said, like, forget it. I'm not a Democrat. These people are crazy. I know it's a big tent.
He started going that way a little while ago. Maybe he's finally completely tipped over. That's cool. Okay.
Yes, but other prominent Democrats, I can't remember the guy's name, the one guy who's always on CNN. He said straight up, it's a big tent, but there's some things you just can't be in. It doesn't matter how big the tent is, you can't be in with it. And he's talking about the DNC and just how much it's gone towards socialism. And get this, the poll numbers are out and CNN is just they're reluctant to tell the news about it, but it's pretty devastating for them. Just have a listen to this. This is crazy.
But they don't care. They don't care. I mean, just look at these numbers. Okay, top issue, a midterm vote. You can list up the 3 issues. The economy, not surprisingly, comes in at number 1 at 54%. Immigration, 28%. Look where climate change is.
Yeah.
It's tied for 14th, all the way down here at percent. Johnny, I'm not the greatest mathematician in the world, but I sure as heck know that 54% is a whole heck of a lot higher than 3%. So despite the climate being so warm in the month of July, the hottest month on record here in the United States of America, the voters simply put do not say that climate change is going to be an issue in which they vote upon in the midterm election.
And then have a listen to this, because this cracks me up even more. This is their polling numbers recently.
I'm having to look around my camera.
They're in positive territory at +1 point. Look now in 2026. We're not just talking down there underneath the Potomac. We're talking down there with the Titanic. We're talking 24 points underwater. And this is just the party overall. This isn't the congressional leadership. This is the party. The party. It's just a terrible, terrible, terrible brand. Terrible. I want to almost get my Charles Barkley. Terrible, terrible. I can't even do a Charles Barkley. But the bottom line is it's absolutely terrible.
It's absolutely terrible, Marty. They're not looking very good at all on the Democrat side. And what are they doing? They're doubling down on all this stuff. But they had one Chinese lady who was running, and everybody thought she was a shoo-in. Lost. Even the Democrats are starting to realize that this socialism crap, this UBI, and all these things that they've been pushing, higher taxes, minimum Tommy in New York. Like, look at the crap he said. And
we're the only, I thought the Americans had dropped that a long time ago. I guess there's still a little bit of remains of it. We're the last country on earth, I think. We're one of the last ones that still push climate change. It blows me away that it does resonate, right? Like, I'll give you an example real quick, and it was last week. For the summer months right now, Carney lifted the gasoline excise tax, which is about 10 cents per liter. Okay, 10 cents per liter. So we're getting a 10 cents per liter relief during the summer, but it's set to go back on September 5th. And there was a poll done, and 39% of Canadians want the tax to go back on because it saves the planet. And I mean, when I saw the numbers, I'm just like, who the hell wants this? Like, who wants to be taxed? And there are people who are happy. They don't want to be taxed. They just know that others are being taxed, and then the money's being redistributed. But yeah,
that's communism.
I mean, but I was looking at, anyways, yes. So
it's redistributed to what? To other things. But like, did a penny of it, does any money of this go towards climate change?
No.
Or anything? It's so crazy. But yeah, people buy it. I can't believe Canadians are so damn gullible. It's insane. But the propaganda works.
Oh, well, we're the most propagandized people, right? It's we are propagandized. I mean, if you're not on X or some other platform, if you only have a television, then holy smokes, man. I mean, I do it. I've said this before. I don't get joy doing it, but I turn on the TV once in a while because you want to get a quick grasp of what's being talked about. So I turn on the TV and I take one for the team just to see what they're talking about. And after about 30 minutes of watching it, you're like, oh, like you just start to yeah.
No, exactly. Right. You're saying, Marty, where can people find you?
On X, Marty Up North on X, and Marty Up North on YouTube. Yeah, I had a nice little boost on YouTube this week. I not nowhere near your numbers, but I got had a nice little video yesterday that got me 260 new subscribers. I was like, nice. Wow. Yeah, that's because great. That video of those cut lines and what the government does to us resonated with a lot of people. Like they don't like us. Like, leave us alone. That's all. That's my message, right? That's always my message. Like, I'm going in the woods. I used to love going to the woods. Why do I love going to the woods? Because I can retreat. I just want to retreat. I don't want to and now I got and the government, where they came and cut those cut lines, they gave me one big giant FU at the end, because they put at the beginning of the cut line, they put a warning sign that said warning, uneven terrain ahead. I'm like, that's just being ignorant. That's literally you guys knowing that me and my buddies are out here. But like, and I just want to be left alone. Like, leave me a spot of wilderness where I can just go sit by a fire with my buddies. And they took that away from me. It's frustrating. It's maddening.
It'll go wrong for them at one point. They'll do it to the wrong person, man. That's
yeah,
that's the thing. And yeah, holy crap. All right. We could, what do we get into next?
Well, let's talk real quick about that story about the Canadian politician. So his name is his name is Sean God, I don't know his last name, but so here's the interesting thing. So you know, in the last few weeks, maybe Google up a politician who resigned. What's his name? Sean something. Just
no,
it's Sean Chang or something like that. It's a Chinese last name. Or somebody in the comments, real quick. What was the name of the guy? I just got back, but Sean.
Is it in there yet? Sean Chen.
Okay, so Chen, thank you. A couple of people put it up. So a couple of interesting things. So he resigns, And just in the weeks, a week ago, everybody's like, "Hey, Poilievre is should be tossed as leader of the Conservatives because he's lost 7 MPs in the last year." Okay, if you do the math, Mark Carney has lost 7 MPs in the last year, including some pretty ugly departures. And you could literally say that Poilievre lost 4 MPs. No, I won't even qualify it. They both lost 7 MPs. Okay, so. And then this guy, Sean, says, well, I was in a bad accident and I need to spend a car accident. And so I'm resigning to spend more time with my family. Okay. Then you got guys and gals like Andy Lee and Table Salt and Mark and everybody and MPs. Okay. Literally MPs. A Conservative MP said, wow, I've been in the House of Commons for 10 years and I don't even know who this guy is. Like they had no idea. They had no idea who this guy was. Turns out he's been an MP for 11 years. He's never once introduced a bill. Never once. No, it barely ever speaks up. He's barely ever in the House of Commons. And then he says, I'm injured and that's why I can't do it. Andy Lee digs up. Andy Lee's got friends in low places.
She's great, yeah.
Andy's got all these videos of this guy like doing publicity for the Chinese party in China. And so now everybody's digging and going like, oh my God, what's going on? Basically, I think he's one of the 11. He is one of those. He's being called back to China. It's just black and white, man. This guy was in the House of Commons, quietly sitting there spying on Canadians every day, and now he's being called back. And by the way, we have a spy story happening in Canada right now too.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, some. I don't. Again, this one I got to catch up on because it happened while I was gone. But some intern working for the Department of Foreign Affairs or whatever has been detained and charged with spying. I mean, just Google Canadian spy 2026, whatever. I mean, there's a spying story going on. But anyways, this Sean Chien guy it's there's more to the story and there'll be more to come. And you know,
yeah, because I'm seeing here Sean Chan represents the federal electoral district of Scarborough North.
Yeah,
in Ontario. He served as the Liberal member of Parliament for his riding since 2025. There are no highlights of anything that he's ever done. He got elected with Trudeau. And he
more than 2025, 2015. Yeah. 11 years. Yeah. So 11 years done 11 nothing. Years. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing to say about this guy. And then just he steps down.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened?
We don't know.
Ooh, yikes. Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think he just got called back. His handlers are calling him back to China, I think.
Imagine that. It's so easy to do espionage in Canada that like you just serve out your term and then quit.
I mean, and like, I'm going to be offensive here, but we talk about certain writings in Ontario and Toronto, right? Like the writing of Chrystia Freeland, right? Whatever it's called, Toronto University. And we've always joked that you can run a pig with lipstick in that writing and the people would elect it. And this is an example. This is a writing where they've had an MP for 11 years who has done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
What is this? In late 2026, Belgian authorities arrested Canadian national working as an intern in NATO's military headquarters for suspicion of espionage and belonging to a criminal organization.
Yeah.
Media investigations identified the detained individual as Biwei.
Again, it's a Canadian, it's
Biwei Zhang.
It's not a Canadian name, man. It's a Chinese name, and this story's not making the news. This ain't making the news. Not in Canada, but we have a spy. We have an international spy arrested in Europe in NATO.
A Canadian citizen of Chinese origin,
of course,
in her 30s. What the heck? The charge is accused of spying on behalf of unspecified third country. Unspecified third country.
So we'll have a couple of stories to talk about next week.
Why do they do that? Come on. No.
Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see
What?
here. There's nothing to see here. It just carry on. Here's $100 check or whatever story. I'll sacrifice somebody. The Liberals will sacrifice something next week. I mean, there's nothing to see here. Yeah.
So the impact. NATO and SHAPE officials, SHAPE as an acronym, stated that there was no immediate indication that operational readiness command systems or classified tasks were compromised. Yeah, because they would tell you that, right?
Yeah.
They would tell you that right after they told you the origin country of the person, right? Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's get to a couple of these chats here. Right out of the gate, we got Blind Trust becoming a new member of the channel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And thanks for sticking around all this time to be recognized for that. Appreciate it. Waniska giving us 440 joules. This is the Unk alert. Okay. I still don't get some of these phrases. That got funny last week, but it's hilarious. Van C guy for 5 says, Vancouver guy says, Point Robert voted Democrat, so President Trump loses nothing if he trades for Quebec.
Okay, that's good. That's clever. That's good. I like that. Now, actually, let's put off. Okay, Vancouver guy. Let's put off on trading for Quebec just yet. Right now, I think there's going to be a very interesting development. Let's watch Quebec for a while. They're about to vote for the part. They're about to elect the Separatist Party.
I want to see them. I want to see them separate.
Yeah, honestly. I want to see them separate. So I don't want to trade them for anything. I just want to see what happens once they elect the Separatist Party for a little while.
I'm rooting for the Separatist Party because here's how it goes, right? If they vote in a Separatist Party and then they do nothing with it, then they're not a Separatist Party.
Absolutely.
And we can all call them out and say, you're not a Separatist Party. You're just, a Quebec Party, and you only care about yourself in a United Canada, whatever. And if they do something about it, well, I'm rooting for them to separate.
And if the province as a whole elects an entire, whatever their names are, I'm sure they're members of MLAs or whatever. If the province as a whole elects, let's say 70 MLAs, then I want to see Avi Lewis. I want to see David Eby. I want to see all those people calling all 80 of those MLAs traitors. I want to hear them because I've been called a traitor. I'm not even I'm just a private citizen, but because I have separatist leanings, I've been called a traitor by everybody, Carney, and so I want to see the double standard, that there is no double standard. I'm pretty sure there's a double standard. I'm pretty sure nobody in Quebec is going to get called a traitor by David Eby, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will call him a traitor. Actually, Eby won't even be in power by October. He is going down hard, man. Like it's what I guess that's always the way politicians end, right? They crash and burn. They crash and burn.
Is he going to step aside and then make way for another NDP because BC's so?
I don't know, but I mean the Conservatives are, they've been pushing hard and gaining momentum in BC for the last 18, 19 months, right? I mean, it started with Rustad. It went with one BC. I mean, they've had their share of what do you call it? A little bit of drama and whatnot, but I think they're finally sorting it out. And what they're realizing is there is an appetite for a conservative government in BC. So just get your shit together, folks, which all conservative parties are guilty of, including us here in Alberta.
British Columbians need to get their shit together, though. Yeah, I mean, just the talk on the street is just like, what? I know, I get it. I get the rural areas are super conservative, and we get that. But the majority of the people are in the Lower Mainland, and yes, there are a lot of conservatives. But I'll tell you what, conservatives are conservative, and they'll vote conservative. But they're losing the culture war. They're quiet about it. They're not proud to be conservative, or if they are, they're quietly proud to be conservative, and they just don't want to deal with the liberals. But here's the thing. You got to be loud about it. You got to tell people, you got to be proud that you're conservative and you have conservative leanings, because they're winning in the culture war in Canada. They make the tiny group of people that are just nitpicky, shitty people that always, this is a perfect example. You mind your business, you listen, you're at dinner with a family or whatever, and you get that one relative that's a liberal, and they inject their politics into everything, absolutely everything. Oh, can you pass the mashed potatoes? Oh, can I have some of the yams? They're just as orange as Donald Trump. That's right. And they always got to add it into every little aspect of their life. And if you're just like, hey, can we just have a peaceful night where we don't talk about that? Well, you got to bring your politics into this. And then they browbeat you about it. This is the thing. Enough of that. We're the ones that have to be quiet about it, but you say it in every aspect of life. No, I'm going to be proud that I'm conservative. I'm going to be proud that I have libertarian leanings. I'm proud of the founding fathers and the documents that they published and put into law. And these are the things that make me proud. I'm proud of the fact that my heroes are on the freaking money here. I'm proud of that stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm watching a documentary on him on Netflix, man, and it's a great one. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like The American Experience or something like that. But
it's awesome though. I've got a coin with Washington on it. My hero. I've got a coin with this is Jefferson on this one. My hero. I love that, and I'm proud of it, and I'm not gonna shut up about it. So I think conservatives in Canada, British Columbia, especially, because this is something that I watched happen for years and years, start being proud of it, be very proud of it, and more. Guess what? When you're loud about it, just like the lefties are loud about it, a lot more people who are leaning towards you will start talking about it and make everybody else feel more comfortable about it.
And it's the advice that we gave to Pierre, and I'll give it to any conservative politician. Don't fight the liberals on the margins. Don't try to be a liberal light. If the liberals are for climate change, don't say, well, we're for climate change, but with this variation. Go, no, we're against climate change. We think it's nonsense. Like that's what the conservatives need to do. Fight on your own policies, on your own economic policies, on your own immigration policies, whatever. Don't adopt a light version of liberal stuff. Just conserve. I mean, that's another one that actually all these
own it. Don't
own it.
You're not gonna win liberals over by like pulling a fast one on them and then it turns out I was more conservative than you thought. You know what I mean? Like just own it. Own your political ideology, your thoughts, your beliefs.
Sorry, can you close that door, hun? The one that you just came through. The light is shining hard in my face right now. That door. I know you didn't go through it, but thank you. That makes it. That door you just went through.
I did not go through that door.
This one, please close it. Oh, that one.
Was it just getting you in the eye? Like,
no, there's a door that we sort of forget that there's a door in the house. It's a door that goes into there. Now, it doesn't affect the image, but it was reflecting off the screen and bouncing in my face. I couldn't see myself. Man, you are red. I don't know if it's the colors.
Yeah. I got a lot of sun. You can see like that's tan, and then my face has got red.
Your face is red because the reference is the red on your shirt. Unless you got
but it's red. It's red. I mean, I'm getting a lot of sun these days.
It'll turn darker eventually.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I got a tan on was my arms because they're in the side of the window when I was driving here. And then I've been getting more and more sun every day. Clyde's almost orange. Yeah, like one of my other heroes. Clyde the redneck. Yeah.
No, I want conservative it's not necessarily that I want conservatism to go back. I just want this really weird woke bullshit to finally disappear. Like I'm tired of the trans narrative. I'm tired of the climate narrative. I'm tired of, some of these things. I just want to go back to a more common sense era. If it means being conservative, sure, let's call it that. But I'm avoiding the word, and I'm just saying let's go back to common sense, because we've
well, the thing is, I can't call myself a liberal, which like the founding fathers of the United States were the classical liberals. That's what they were, because they've bastardized the name anymore. Democrats call themselves liberals. The Liberal Party of Canada calls themselves liberals. Labor in Britain, they call themselves liberals.
Liberals.
That's not, they don't share the same beliefs of, you know, the literature that I've read about what brought this Republic into place, right?
Yeah, I mean, like super core liberal value used to be free speech.
Absolutely.
Like that's not even a conservative thing. That's truly is a liberal idea from 100 years ago. Man, I live in a country now where like speech is threatened all the time. Like we had incidences in the last couple of weeks, like scary ones where people are the door knocking is starting to happen physically and sort of online. Oh, did you see that weird video? And it's nothing to do with free speech, but I always think of England when I think of countries that are going down this ugly path, right? And we got to reverse. We got to stop before we go as far as England did. But did you see the video of that kid being arrested in England for buying a baseball bat?
No.
Oh man. Yeah, let's not play it. That'll make me too mad. But the kid came out of
describe it.
He came out of a store with a baseball bat. He bought a baseball bat, which is not very common, but he bought a baseball bat, not a cricket bat. And some cop gave him shit for having a bat in public, which is a weapon. And the kid's like, you know, he's a typical British hooligan, told the cop like piss off. And the cop got mad and then took it personally and then literally grabbed the kid, put his arms behind his back and like, I'm arresting you for having a dangerous weapon. And there's a whole bunch of bystanders telling the cop like, you're wrong, man. Like it's blah, blah, blah. No, it just escalated and they dragged away that kid. And just a week ago in England had an incident with guys like parading downtown with their kirpan or whatever. Nobody said a word. So that's lunacy to me. That's when you're gone too far. Like that's when the police start to control you that way. That's way, way, way too far.
That is way too far. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm completely against making carve outs for people and their sensibilities. Right. So if a law is a law, you obey that law. And if the law doesn't work, you lobby to remove that law. That's plain and simple. If you want to be able to walk around with your kirpan, well, everybody else should be able to walk around with whatever the hell they want. I don't want to give society should not tolerate certain behavior from certain groups because they're a protected group for whatever damn reason. Yep. And that goes for everybody. That goes for everybody and every rule. If you don't like wearing helmets because you got some religious thing and you can't get your helmet on, well, that's the thing. You can't ride motorcycles or
pick a different career
or change the law. Lobby to get the law changed where it becomes your own personal liability. I'm totally in favor of that. It's your own personal liability if you don't wear that thing. And nobody else can be held accountable for if you
like
an accident or something.
Like look at my face right now. By the way, nobody mentioned anything. I went for a nice little trim. Right?
You're looking dapper. You're looking dapper, Marty.
I chose to work in the oil patch, and when I worked in the oil patch, especially on site, there were masks on the wall, like Scott packs, we call them, right? Like self-contained breathing apparatus, because the environment was toxic. And if there was an incident, we might have to don a mask. And because I had to don a mask, I had to be clean shaven. And I accepted that. So when I worked there, I accepted to be clean shaven. And if I showed up and said, this is religious for me, they would have said, piss off, Boulanger, go get clean shaven. But we made exceptions, religious exceptions for some groups. It drove me nuts, man. It just made me bonkers that, so I can't count on that guy if there's an incident because he can't wear a mask. It's like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because he's going to drop dead. And then next thing, there's going to be a bunch of people rushing in there, dropping dead too. Or
he can't help us, actually. I wasn't even thinking about him dropping dead. He can't help us. He has to stand on the sideline. And people say, well, not everybody needs to help. I'm like, anyways, yeah, no, I'm on your page with that one. I'm on your page with that one. I'm on your page. But
that's it. But you just don't get a career in the gas. Like it's, if you can't go outside because you have to wear a burqa and it only shows a slit with your eyes, and you want your driver's license to be taken with that thing on, sorry, the rules are I can't wear a hat or my glasses when I get my photograph taken. That's you just have to deal with it.
I wasn't allowed to wear hoodies at work. We weren't allowed to wear hoodies, not even something that covers our face, just hoodies. You know why we weren't allowed to wear hoodies?
Conveyor belts?
No, it obstructed our peripheral vision. which is fairly legit, right? And that was a frustrating one because a hoodie is a very common Canadian thing, right? You just you put it over instead of a toque, but but we'd have to accommodate for somebody who wanted to wear the full facial covering. I'm like, wow, that's
Stupid.
I'm not discriminating, folks. Neither's Clyde. We're asking for just a common set of guidelines to apply for everyone. And
I mean, I think the Sikh community, if they want to, lobby to have their kirpans, that they should change the law so I can have knives and walk around with big knives and daggers.
You can now where you live.
I can.
Yeah.
You go to a sporting goods shop and they have tasers and big knives and guns and pistols and everything. You got everything. It's all at her disposal.
Is that true? Like people have tasers? Is that a possibility? Like you can buy a personal taser or a slight variation of?
Stun guns. They're called stun guns.
Okay.
So is it the same as a taser? Somebody in the chat tell me if it. But the stun guns and they go and the little prods.
Click.
They're not even behind the glass at the sporting goods shop. They're on the shelf. They're on those little things that you pull them off yourself.
And I have to sign paperwork to buy bear spray.
They're illegal in Canada, Marty. They're illegal in Canada, but on the shelf, they're right there. You can grab it, and they're like $10.
Yeah, wow.
And right next to the pepper spray. That's for human beings. It's like
that's mace, right? They have something. They used to have something called mace. Yeah, we're not. I can buy bear spray is a restricted item, not that hard to get. I mean, I go to this store and I can buy bear spray, but I still have to sign and give my address, and somehow or other, I don't know who's tracking that. But if I ever use a bear spray on a person, that's a crime. That's a major assault.
So here's the legality around it in Canada. If you carry bear spray or dog spray because you have a fear that you might run into a dog, and that's the purpose of you having it on you, and then somebody attacks you, and in that heat of the moment, you use it to defend yourself with, you have a legal defense.
In Canada or in the U.S.
Yes,
you're talking about?
Canada. In America, you're like, I got this and I got it. If you come at me, I'm going to, yeah. I bought it to use it on people if they, but no, here in Canada, that's a legal defense. If you used it for its like actual purpose, or you have it on you for its actual purpose, and then you happen to need it in another circumstance, there's a legal defense to use it. I learned this through Runkle of the Bailey, amazing firearms lawyer in Canada, and he's got a YouTube channel. He's great. Go check him out, Ian Runkle. But he specified this one because there was some bad information that was given out on a CTV panel show where some guy's like, totally illegal, can't have it. And Ian Runkle's like, no, you can't have this. And here's case law that proves it. But the problem is if you buy it and your intention, and this is where it's like the intent of the law and like, how do they read your mind and all this crap comes into play. If your purpose is to protect yourself against human beings, just having it with you is illegal.
Yes, you cannot walk around with a bear spray on your hip while walking around the train station.
You absolutely can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I'd like to try that. I mean, I have 4 or 5 bottles of it downstairs.
You're gonna have to explain it, and you're gonna have to go through a lot of rigmarole with the cops over it. But you say, no. You have to understand, I'm deathly afraid of bears, and I've seen bears around these parts, even with people around, and I'm worried for my safety. And if that's it,
no, but you didn't hear the example I said. If I go downtown Calgary and I walk around with a bear spray on my hip where there's absolutely no chance of a bear, if I walk around the +15 indoors with a bear spray on my hip in downtown Calgary, it'd be an interesting experiment. I think somebody would come up to me at some point pretty quickly and say, what the fuck are you doing with a bear spray walking around? If I said, I'm just nervous, they'd go, yeah. Yeah, anywhere in the wilderness. I mean, in my neighborhood here, I'd feel fine. I'd be very justified in walking around with a bear spray in my neighborhood, even though I haven't seen a bear in years. I could say, well, there's coyotes and stuff like that, and that's some guy could go, okay, that's legit. But if I was I'm going to
If
Disney
you went
World
downtown with a dog spray, that's legit.
Yeah.
It's legit because there are dogs. You know, people have.
Regardless, we're in the world now where I don't want to be arrested by cops, right? That used to be always the thing, right? They always said, don't fight the cops, just let them arrest you and let the judges or somebody else decide. I don't even want an interaction, man. Like I don't even want that because I literally don't trust anybody at this point. Not in law enforcement anyways. Like I just don't want to go there. So
down here in the US, we have people they do like for Second Amendment checks. So they'll walk around with like an AR just like on a sling and just walk around with it. And then cops will come up and like, hey, how's your day? And they're trying to lead the guy into like saying more. And he's just like, like a lot of times they're streamers or whatever. Doing great. How are you? Okay, nice to see you. Bye.
Yeah. No, it's different. Yeah, I've seen lots of those videos. It's different when somebody calls, right? If I'm walking around and somebody calls and says there's a guy walking with a gun, then the cop has a little more. It's a Second Amendment check, but he can say somebody called and therefore I have.
They always say somebody called though.
Oh, is that what they say? They always say somebody called? Yeah.
Yeah, you have no obligation unless you're under like arrest or suspicion. Like if somebody called, then it's like, oh, okay. How'd the call go? Is that good? Have a nice day, officer. You know, am I being, and I hate to sound like one of those sovereign citizens because I hate it because those guys are just crazy pants. But it's like, yeah, you really do like when it comes to police, if they're coming to you and asking you questions, then it's like, hi, how are you? Have a nice day kind of thing. That's great. But as soon as they're inquiring about something, now it's like, oh, okay, I'm under suspicion for something. It's good to assert like what your rights are, and then just say like, is there some sort of suspicion here? Am I free to go? I want to go home. That kind of thing.
I'm reading the jokes.
Uh-oh.
It's not a joke. It's
never run. That's a good tip.
Yeah. No, Van City guy said there's no bears in Point Roberts, just saying.
Okay, love that. Okay, let's get to some of these other chats. Because we haven't hit all those other ones yet. We've got Winiska with 100 joules. Sunday, but spelled weird. Thank you. Appreciate that. And
no, that's Sunday, the dish, right? The dessert. That's how Sunday is spelled.
Is that how that's spelled?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not the day of the week. It's yeah.
And we got Jay Nizzle. I love the name, by the way. For 200 joules. Thank you so much. Sunshine. These things are interesting. Javon, welcome back. Member for 23 months, says reality hasn't kicked in for elbozos. I've seen so many people saying that Carney is so strong because of fake unemployment numbers. Now, the numbers aren't fake. They just made a bunch of government jobs and part-time jobs, and that's all they really have to do, right, Marty?
Well, the numbers are never real because they're always based on surveys, right? So that's where the numbers come from. Industry gets surveyed once a month, and then they answer surveys. But even if they were fake or not, people can still sense reality. You know what I mean? Like, I find that interesting that people go, oh, well, everybody's got a job, so everything's good. But if you walk around and you're talking to your neighbors, you're probably not going to get the sense that everybody's got a job. So I'm surprised that reality doesn't kick in better, right? Like, yeah, Carney can tell you it's sunny outside, and if it's not, you should be able to figure it out. That's what I told people. Like, figure it out. Like, really question everything, right? Like, question the data and ask yourself if some of the stuff you're being told it sounds right. Like Carney's this week again was still bragging about, or last week, like, oh yeah, we're building homes. I'm like, where? Like, where?
Anyway, weren't we supposed to have 500,000 homes by this time this year?
Yeah, like 500,000 a year. It's been a year and a half. We should have 700 by now.
Yeah, how many have been made?
It's not his business anyways. I mean, even if he had built 3 or 4, I fundamentally don't give a shit. It's not your job. It's not Ottawa's job to build houses.
You're correct.
But I did look into this. Actually, it is one of the stats that I'm always fascinated by. And building permits is completely stalled. It is completely stalled. We've never exceeded 270,000 housing units in a year. We're stalled. We're already lower than that. And more interesting is of the split, about 70% of the housing units that are being built are condos. It's not single family dwellings, because condos fits in the you will own nothing and be happy model. And who builds condos? The Brookfields of the world and whatnot. Like it's
you see the Burnaby skyline. It's just like filled with all these new condos that all look very similar in shape, and they're not particularly nice to look at. They were just money pits, like, or money generators.
Well, they just got bailed out, right? I mean, $1.2 billion went to condo developers in BC last month. Oh, not condo developers, Brookfield.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want to lose their bet. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, the market will crash. They just slowed that down. They just slowed that crash down. The Canadian real estate bubble is coming to an end, but you still have this upward pressure of migration, which is crazy. Actually, I don't know if you saw this.
That's one that I wish I knew whether it's real or not. That's one where I'm thinking the government's lying to us. They are telling us that, well, maybe let me paraphrase that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't entirely believe the population numbers, but then I have to believe them because the GDP is going down, and I kind of think the GDP is per capita is going down as well. So I'm kind of thinking that has to do with the fact that some people are leaving, and I don't know. I don't know how to verify for myself whether the population is going down or not. I just don't.
Well, the population of native-born Canadians is going down.
Absolutely, because we're dying faster than we're being born. So that's
and the ones and a lot of them are taken off. Right? That's the thing. And so I had to show you this one. So this I saw just before we started live streaming tonight. So if you've been paying attention, there's a bunch of protests all around Canada of these students who came to Canada, promised permanent residence while they're applying for their temporary student visas. Well, they're not getting their permanent residence, and now they're protesting, but they've overstayed these visas and they're in the country illegally while they're protesting against this. And so now messages to us claim CBSA officers attended a protest by international students in Calgary and checked attendees' immigration documents. So this is new. I'm pretty glad about this. And it's so funny because I put out this quote of, Indian students who overstayed their visas but want to stay. We should protest, CBSA. You're telling me they're all going to be in one location for us to pick up? That's kind of a dumb move, to be honest. But yeah, they're actually lobbying. And there's been some people that have like flipped the script, and they're joining. They've people from the Indian communities or whatever, claiming to be conservative, and then they flip the script. And now they're on the side of the, like, all these students. They got scammed. I get it. Scammed. You got scammed.
Yeah. No, it's another example of misguided empathy. Like I've heard it over and over and over. Oh, these poor students, they were promised something and the rules have changed. I'm like, no, the rules haven't changed. I don't know. To me, a student visa is a student visa. I mean, Danielle Smith is the exception to that. Danielle Smith had a great video this week on this subject because of the protests here in Alberta. She's like, you knew what you were getting into. Enough with the whining. We were very accommodating. We're happy to share our institutions here. Come here, better yourself, get a degree, and then go back to your country and put it to good use. That's what it's there for. So wow. Danielle, find that video. I don't know if it's findable, but it's maybe Danielle Smith and student visas or whatever. It was very short. Like, did you find it already or
no? I'll look it up.
But then too many others were the other way around, going, no, we got to feel sorry for them. No, like I've talked about this a million times. I've traveled a lot, right? When I go to Costa Rica and I enter the country, they put a stamp on my thing there that says good for 60 days. And man, even in a second world country like Costa Rica, I don't push it past the 60 days because, on 61, somebody's going to be finding me and saying, you've overstayed your welcome. Yeah.
I think this is it. So
yeah, that's it.
Prepared to start the certifying diploma mills in Alberta.
I wouldn't describe Portage College as a diploma mill. There have been instances where I think unscrupulous operators have set up diploma granting programs.
Like all through Ontario, what was it, Conestoga? Like 90%
Yeah,
students. Yeah, exactly.
And taken advantage of students. I think perhaps Portage maybe overstated.
No, it was part of that series, but it's not in that one.
But our view is that if you come here as an international student,
actually,
and your visa expires and you don't have permanent residency, you need to go home.
There you go. Okay, she said it.
She straight up said it. Yeah, like
straight up said it.
Verbatim, like almost exactly. But yeah, the rules are what make our system fair, and our country needs to return to an immigration process that respects the rules.
Well, again, and
amazing. No, I really want to emphasize.
Actually,
this.
put that line up back. Put that thing back up. I just finish your bit, then I'll give you my bit. But yeah.
Okay, so she says our university and colleges were built by Alberta taxpayers first and foremost for Alberta students, where there is room for international students. The terms are simple. Earn your education, then return home to build a life with it. The rules are what make our system, the system fair, and a fair in our country needs to return to an immigration process that protects the rules.
I will. This is the word she's choosing, but she's very good. We forced her to say that. Okay, so I'll take credit for this as a group. At the annual general meeting of the Conservatives last year in Edmonton, we said those exact words to her. She was on stage, and at one point she said, well, we make a lot of money with these universities, and guys like me, we got up to the mic and we said, I don't give a shit if you're making money. That's not why I funded this university. I funded this university so that my son could go get an engineering degree, and he can't get in. So if he can't get in,
because, there's foreign students coming in, and they're more lucrative because
our guy goes in first, my kid goes in first, and then if you have room left over at the end, or if you want to make a slight but fundamentally my guy goes first. If you have room left over, sure, bring in somebody. But this is not a business. We're not building universities to make money. We're building universities to advance our society first. So her words are different. They weren't those words last year. So I'm just saying that, folks, to show
this is a whole like cart before the horse scenario, right? So immigration is supposed to be one of those systems that if somebody trains themselves in their homeland and then they become a lucrative asset as a person who has skills and they can provide something for the country that you live in, and then also, they get the benefit of living in a better country, then they worked their ass off. They earned it on the merit system. Come on in, right? If you as just a whatever, you come into the country as a temporary person to get your visa so that you can be a student, yes, you do your student thing, and then there you go, bye-bye, off you go. That's fine. Now, if you take that and you build your profession where in your home country and then decide you want to come back because you liked it during your time, but you don't just get an automatic in, because this is what happens. You get a fly-by-night universities. They find this like whole thing where they turn it into a mill where they're making university degrees that have no credentials whatsoever. Nobody cares to hire somebody from Conestoga College for whatever they design. You know what the number one thing that people were graduating in these colleges for was, Marty?
Something similar to basket weaving. I don't know.
Managerial business.
Sure.
Just being a manager at a business so you can run a Tim Hortons or you can run a whatever. And that's it. It's just, we don't need more managers. Like, we're already full of managers in Canada. Well, I'm not even in Canada anymore. I'm almost representing you guys. But yeah, don't need any more managers. It's ridiculous. But if people were coming in, they were say people were coming and they were studying for things that are actually needed in the country, then maybe there should be, they could look at that situation. But I don't think it should just be automatic that you're allowed to be there.
Yeah, but but I can also easily make the case that we have enough people in this country. Like why am I short doctors? Why am I short doctors? Is it because I'm lacking people who want to be doctors? No, I'm short doctors in this country because I don't have enough places to train doctors. That's all.
Mhm.
Like there's hardly a trade where name a trade where we're short literally because nobody wants to do it, or a business, right? There's so few. I mean, I should almost foreign for me. I don't see the need to train foreign students to fill a void that I have here. I should, we just don't have enough capacity to train the people we need. So then we have to go hire. I mean, if I had to bring in welders and somebody from another country and train them to be a welder here, I have a big problem. I'd be like, holy shit, that's a huge problem. Like, I got to fix that. The solution is not to bring in people from somewhere else. Now, if I don't have enough welder and I bring in a trained welder from somewhere else, that's a great solution. But bringing in somewhere else, bringing in somebody from
a
another
laborer
country
who doesn't know how to do something and then train them here.
Training him here, I'd be like,
no,
I'll
train the
my
local
own.
Population.
Absolutely.
I'm totally with you on that. Train the local population first. Now that it's become a problem. The barriers to entry for a lot of these things, and then also
it's a real problem now. Actually, academia is becoming a real problem. I mean, there's I don't know. They're going to have to crack down on this. I don't know how they're going to, but there's people that are apparently getting degrees and never showing up at school a day in their life, and legitimately getting a degree, studying somewhere. I don't know where. This whole remote thing makes me nervous that you're, anyways.
Well, if you could do all the remote stuff, why do you need to have an immigration set up?
Which is where I was kind of going to. I mean, if I warn people, if you can get your degree remotely, your degree might not be very useful for very long because you're probably going to get replaced by AI, right? So it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I tell people, if you could do your job right now from home 5 days a week, other than say some of the things you do, let's say YouTubing or whatever. But if you work for the Canada Revenue Agency and your entire day spent at home working on a computer and entering data, you're going to be replaced, man. You don't have a very bright future. So yeah.
I think it's an interesting thing. I don't know if you know the YouTube channel Michael Reeves. So he's a young guy from Hawaii, and he does programming, robotics, and that kind of thing. He studied, I believe, at MIT, but he didn't pay to study at MIT, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
They put all their courses on the website, and you could just tune in and go into the Zoom meetings where the courses are being taught. He just went in there and did it, got all the knowledge that came out of MIT without having to pay any of the tuition or books.
COVID proved that that's a possibility, right? COVID proved that that's a possibility. I mean, we closed the schools and we sent people home and said, here, watch this video. It's like, okay, well, if I'm watching the video, that all I had to do is find the best videos. I mean, if this grade 12 professor put a nice video on calculus and this guy put a nice video on calculus and that guy did, I just got to find the best video and use it for anybody. That's what MIT did. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can get an MIT degree by just watching the MIT videos, for sure.
Well, no, he didn't get any degree. He just watched it all for free.
No, but I mean, then watch it for free and then go challenge the exam somewhere or some sort of test and prove that you got it. I mean, that's a lot of degrees have been down that path a long, long time ago, right? I mean, most societies, you get your law degree by just challenging the bar. If you challenge the bar, then you are practiced, regardless of where you got your degree. What matters is challenging the law society's exam. Engineering is kind of the same way. Just challenge the final exams, and then how you learned it is irrelevant. But that's the key. As long as I'm okay with a system like that. I'm okay with the system. Learn wherever the hell you want, and then come and challenge the exam. I'll sit you down and test you, and if you pass the test, then knock yourself out.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to some more of these. We've got Glenn Dumont for 10 joules gold coin. Thank you so much. I think that was right around when we were talking about gold coins earlier. Monetary value. Chan for $6.99 says, When you drive past Forever Canada lawn sign, honk for Canada.
Unfortunately, I'm seeing more and more of those damn lawn signs. It's making me mad. We're in the campaign mode. It's official. We're in a campaign mode. Elections Alberta said. Elections Alberta said you're allowed to put signs on public property. So signs are starting to go up.
What's the sort of efforts that are coming down the pike for, reaching out to people, knocking on doors, campaigning, like traditional kind of campaigning?
Everybody
changing minds, that kind of thing.
We're being very strategic about that right now. We've told everybody take the summer off. Take the summer off. Like it's the referendum's in October, right? So it's like enjoy your summer, relax, get energized, and then come September we'll start pushing hard. So September, October we'll do a 6-week real hard push. I mean, we've been pushing nonstop, but there's a lot of plans for there's more documents to give teeth to, more documents. One of the number one things people have asked is, what would an independent Alberta look like? I mean, a lot of people can make that leap of faith. I'm unhappy in Confederation. I want out. Then there's 30% who won't leave no matter what. So we're focused on that middle 30 that want a little bit more, and we are preparing that information, and then we'll put it out there in through door knocking and a million different events. But we're waiting until September. We didn't want to peak in the summer. Like it's like being, you're it's an election. It's strategic. It's very strategic. And so,
I only asked because up until this point, it's really just been anyone who's on board, come on out and sign. Anyone who's on board, come out to this rally or this town hall kind of thing. And a lot less of like outreach to people who aren't on board or outreach to people who are on the fence. Or
there's going to be I'm actually going to a meeting on this tomorrow night, so maybe I can give more next week. But fundamentally, we're taking the summer off because it's summer, and then come back and then really hit it hard September forward.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Where are we? We've got. You
should see the beautiful. Have you ever interviewed Chris Scott of the Whistle Stop Cafe? Have you met Chris at any events?
I've met Chris. I haven't had him on the show before though.
Okay, so Chris is a pretty key leader in the movement, and he's got a group called Let's Talk Alberta. The guy's been a machine, similar to Mitch Sylvester. Like Chris does speaking engagements every other day, like 100 in a year. And Chris just got himself this big giant bus. It's gorgeous. And he had it, and he had the skins put on it with like the Alberta countryside. I made a joke about it online today. I'm like, careful, man. You park that bus on the side of the road and people won't see it. It camouflage. It looks so gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Actually, here I'll find it, and I'll find it, and I'll just I'll put it to the top, and then keep reading a couple of things. I'll go find that picture of that bus.
Yeah,
it is.
We've got Mike Muzzle for 440 joules. Uncle Art, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
When you read joules, I wasn't looking at it. When I hear joules, I'm thinking like a unit of heat, right? Gouelles.
Oh, right, yeah. And then Van C guy with a 5, the no bears in Point Roberts, just saying. Yeah, that's a big selling feature. Van C guy with another 2 says Vancouver has over 10,000 new empty condos.
For sure.
That's crazy. When people can't afford to live in the city, and you have 10,000 condos that the speculators just refusing to let drop in price so that people could just occupy the damn things.
They should drop the price to let people occupy. It would mean a correction, but it's a necessary correction. I mean, the alternative is, and this is frustrating because I talked to a home builder here. This was a while ago, but he's like, even if we bought a reasonable unit, even if we built a reasonable unit, people still have an unreasonable expectation. Like it's a bad problem. Like people who don't even have a home should buy an affordable home, but they want a luxury home. I like, it's crazy. I don't know how you address that problem. You know what I mean? Like people
well, we just had 10 plus years of like television shows telling people, get a starter home, knock out this load-bearing wall, make it open space, like all of that stuff. And that's what everybody's supposed to get. And it's supposed to be easy peasy. Mortgages are cheap. Just,
No, like whatever happened to living on the
interest rates, Glenn.
yeah, like whatever happened to living near the airport for the first 2 years of your life? I mean, it's just, it was the price to pay. You live near the airport, it's shitty, it's loud, but then you build up some equity and then you trade up that house for another one. But now, yeah, I mean, I don't want to, I've experienced it in my own family. I mean, I have young relatives, nephews, nieces that are like holding off, and they're in their mind, they're going to buy themselves a brand new home with a jacuzzi and a marble counter. I'm like, that's insane. My first house was built in 1964. And when I bought it in 1990, it was 30 years old and it showed, but I was happy. I mean, when I was 24 years old, I did not have expectations of a luxury house, but this builder told me that people have crazy expectations. It's unfortunate. I put it at the top of my timeline there on X. Should be there's the picture of the bus.
Just one sec. Here we go. Boom.
That's the actual bus with
with the actual background. Man, that's gorgeous. Is that photoshopped?
No, there's something photoshopped about there. Somebody photoshopped it just to show me, because if you scroll down, you'll see the picture of the bus underneath that one.
But like,
maybe it's not there, but that's there. It is. That's the actual bus, right? And then so that was my joke. I said, be careful. And then somebody just put it on the environment, but it's a gorgeous bus. Like it's, I look forward to, compared to the compared to the Forever Canada 1977 Winnebago that they're using, we're gonna.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
Who gets to work on buses? Is that would that be considered heavy duty mechanic, or is it still automotive? Commercial mechanic. Okay.
Yeah, but commercial transport.
What do they study? What's the trade?
That's commercial transport.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Heavy duties like typically in my experience, heavy duty is a lot of times like off highway stuff. But heavy duty guys will do commercial transport, and there is like a lot of guys that are in both realms. You know what I mean? Like you'll have a concrete shop where they have concrete trucks, and there'll be heavy duty guys that work there because they work on other aspects of it too. They'll be doing work on like they'll do the drums for the concrete trucks, as well as like some of the other machinery on site. Because you've got zoom booms and front end loaders and all kinds of other stuff. But then you have commercial transport guys that are working on the trucks themselves and the drive axles and the machines and the engines and all that.
Yeah, like a bus like that would have a big diesel engine, probably in the 400 horsepower range or 500. I mean, that's the engines themselves.
Never worked on one, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'll probably see it
at the back.
What's that?
They're all tucked in at the back, and you see the big air intake on it, on the side of it, where all the air comes in. I believe I'm assuming that's probably where the radiator is, if anything. If you look at the side, right, that area, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Actually, that's not a bus. That looks more like a motorhome. That might actually be bus. I mean, it's a bus. That's more like a motorhome. Maybe it's a motorhome.
Yeah, it's like a touring bus, like
touring bus. Yeah, you buy a bus and then they convert it. That's probably what it is, an old touring bus or something like that.
Yeah,
cool. Some of those things are so sophisticated, man. Like you see the buses that the guys, the touring buses like that they live out of at NASCAR races. I love that. Like at the NASCAR races, when all the big rigs and the buses are all parked on the infield and the guys live in there. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
Money. Yeah,
they're money. It'd be nice to have one, but yeah, I was.
How much is a gallon of gas in Texas this week? What are you guys paying?
$3.25, somewhere around that.
We're at $2 now. We hit $2 for gasoline, not for diesel.
$2 for regular pump gas, like
$2 for regular pump gas. Yeah, that's $4 a gallon, man. That's $4 Canadian a gallon, which would be about $6 US, I guess, which would be about $1.50, something like that. We're still expensive. We're extremely. I mean, going up north and coming back, I took the truck because I have to go. When I go up north, I can't take the car. I need to go off road, and my truck alone, it's $175 to fuel up. Like when you're fueling up for $175, you're just like, ugh. I've never hit $200 on the fuel up. Never. The day I do, I'm probably going to cry. I'm going to have to have a little moment on the side of the road. And
our family van, it costs like $40 to fill here.
Jesus. Yeah.
Gotta say, I love Texas. Absolutely love Texas. Where were we? I think we said this one. Yeah. Vancouver has that many empty condos. When Eastcat for 5 says, what do you think of NBA players Cantor and Whitey identifying as women to join the NBA? I think it's hilarious. Did you hear about that?
No.
So there's the 2 NBA players where they kind of took a stand and they just identified as women to join the NBA.
Oh, they're making a statement.
Yeah. But they're identifying. They're making no efforts to become women or anything like that.
Well,
but
no,
they identified as women, and so like the reactions from people are hilarious because now you have a bunch of the lefties that are coming out and saying, well, if you got a real trans woman and you're like, oh, wait, what's a real trans woman? What's a woman? What's a real woman? You said it's anyone who identifies as a woman. These 2 gentlemen, these 2 lovely ladies identify as such, and they're kicking ass in the WNBA now.
Well, that was a friend of ours, right? That's how I discovered Zuby 7 years ago,
yeah?
like during COVID, because Zuby set a world record for, he did that. He identified as a woman and did a deadlift and then bragged about it on X. And everybody's like, well, you can't do that. It's like, actually, he 100% can. I mean, why not?
That's the criteria that they laid out. I mean,
yeah. No, okay. As long as it's a statement that's funny. I mean, actually, it'd be interesting to push it further than the statement. Go play. I mean, I'd love to see. Have they played a game, or they're going to play a game, or
I don't know if they played a game, but they've joined.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, well, I look forward to that game then.
It's crazy. Imagine that two dudes just schooling the whole game. They just like bench everybody else. Did I tell you this story? So when I was in grade school, I was in primary school. We had a basketball team. I was part of that basketball team, and we sucked. We were the worst. Probably not a great coach either. That's probably, but that was part of it. But we were terrible. We came dead last in our like tournaments, and the girls' team at the elementary school came in first. They went right to the city and got the first prize, and so they came back bragging and, haha, you suck, you're the worst, and all this other stuff. So we said, all right, well, we'll play you. Just we'll do a friendly game right here, and you can prove that you're way better than us because we're the worst and you're the best. And we played a game. We stomped all over them. Like, it was not a contest. It was not even a contest. So the worst men athletes are way better than the best women athletes, and that was the lesson there.
I mean, that's just a reality. I mean, we locally here, when one of my sons was in a midget AAA hockey team, but he was only, he was 16, 17 years old, and they used to play the women's national, or not a very high caliber, like almost the women's national hockey team was practicing here, and they wanted teams to play against to prepare for an international tournament. And the 18, 19-year-old highest level caliber women in the country played local teams of 16-year-old boys, and the boys would beat them regularly. So yeah, that was them playing at a lower level. If they played, the world women's team playing the best junior team wouldn't have a hope in hell.
Yes, and
it's just a reality of a physical sport. That it's yeah.
And here's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna criticize women for not having the physical ability. If you want to play the sport, play the sport. If they then come and say, well, we should get equal pay as screw off. Nobody wants to watch your sport. Like, I get it. Like, maybe some people do, but like, it doesn't fill seats like the men's top athlete games in these things. But that being said, you should be able to have your sport, and then not have dudes just waltz in and identify as women and just take over your
Well,
sport.
and this might be a little unpopular with maybe a couple of followers, I don't know, but a sport by definition is a sport by definition is an activity that has a component of skill and a component of strength and a component of endurance. Almost every sport has something. And you can say, like, what are a sport where men and women could compete against each other? And there aren't that many, because even something like curling, people go, well, what's physical about curling? Trust me, you'll realize that there is it doesn't look physical until you do it for 9 or 10 innings of, let's say, sweeping or throwing the rock with strength. And then you'll realize that if there's a physical endurance or strength component, then the men will generally be better. And so there's very few sports where men and women can compete on an equal footing. In fact, I can't think of it. Well, I can think of maybe something like darts. I don't know, which I would barely qualify as a sport, by the way. But if it's golf, like, people go golf, what's physical about golf? Really?
Lots.
Lots, exactly. So
that's why the women's tee is like however many yards forward
in front. Yeah, exactly. So tennis was an example, right? That was a big demonstration in the 1990s. There was John McEnroe played against Billie Jean King, because people made that thought that maybe tennis is a sport they can compete against each other. And again,
no way.
Not maybe back then, but today, the serve of a top male versus the best female in the world, the serve.
I can't remember who got criticized because Serena Williams was doing really good, and then they were talking on a sports show, and somebody said, oh, well, she could probably take on the best
number 101 or 102 in the world. Yeah.
No. Somebody said, oh, she could do great against the men. And the guy was like, no, maybe like 150 or whatever. and he got a lot of crap for it. And then Serena Williams came out and was like, no, I'm not playing the men. Like, that's.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Yeah. At tennis. Yeah. Anyways, weird topic.
We got on because of the basketball thing. So here's a funny story, though. They apparently recently, because there's so much pushback on the trans in men's sports thing, or in women's sports. No, there are no trans in men's sports. That doesn't happen. It doesn't go that way. But so they created this, like, I guess, boxing league for trans women so that they can fight other trans women. And then it's like, well, you couldn't have just started with that. If you would have just started with that, I think everybody would have been fine and nobody would have argued against anything. Just, we don't want to see grown-ass men beating the crap out of women. That's what everybody was like up in arms.
Which happened at the Olympics, at the last ones, right? There was,
Anyway, we'll get onto these. We got Myron Ends with a $20 super chat. It says, my former workplace apparently has no more English being spoken as the common language. That's growing increasingly common, I think.
Absolutely.
Like, I think you go to a Tim Hortons, there's probably more Punjabi being spoken than anything else in the workplace area.
Oh yeah, when you're standing outside. Actually, maybe Filipino in Alberta might be a little more common than Punjabi, but in the Tim Hortons,
But we hear about multiculturalism, and then you see what the aspects of how Canada has done multiculturalism, and all it is it's monocultures in pockets, right? Instead of what used to happen, because years ago the Italians came, and then they within a generation became Canadians. Same thing happened with the Polish and the Irish, every different immigrant group. And then even when I was a kid, it was a lot of different people from the Middle East and Asian countries and different whatever. And then their kids were just Canadians in my books. They spoke just the same everything. But then later on came this new form of immigration where they just like, oh, we're just going to pick Punjab, a segment of India, and we're just going to immigrate lots of people from there. And we're going to put them in like all these different roles in society. Same with the Filipinos, different groups.
We used, sure, like in every town, every major city, let's say, used to have a little China, a little Italy, little whatever, little Portugal and stuff like that. But nowadays it's actually becoming more and more common that I've heard that there are places where some people live and do not even need to know English.
Yeah, they just don't assimilate. There's no
need for it. It's not that they don't.
There's no want for it.
There's no want for it. There's no need for it because it's the area around them is so accommodating, including governments. I mean, that's something that's actually being debated here in Alberta. We're about to have a referendum, and they're going to hire people to give advice and translation outside the door just during the referendum. And we're like, oh, we're having a hard time with this one, man. We're having a hard time. I'm having a hard time with this one. Like, that's crazy that I have to explain the names on the ballot to somebody because they don't speak English. I'm like, it's unfortunate, but you don't get to vote then or get somebody in your family to explain it to you, but it shouldn't be a scrutineer standing outside having to explain what you're voting for and translate for you.
No, you should come because it's elections are voluntary, right?
Yes.
You show up, you should have an idea of what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, bugger off. Like that's
well, they're talking about providing people to help understand the question and things like that. I'm like, nope, that's the government should the elections Alberta or the government decides on the question. And if you can't fucking understand, sorry for my language, but if you don't understand the question, that's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then don't vote, abstain, or find somebody in your family who can explain it to you beforehand. But once you're in there, nobody's going in there with you explaining the question. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, no, I'm nervous about this, and we had the same issue with it was debated at our AGM. People in Alberta, I learned this after the fact. I like, this is bonkers. You could take a driver's test in a language other than English. And we're like, why? Well, they can't read English. I'm like, well, if they can't read English, then they shouldn't be driving.
Yes, straight up.
Like, how are they going to read the manual and the directions and the street signs? Oh, it's all symbolic. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. So yeah, it's a requirement, but we're overly accommodating. Boy, we're getting in some. I don't know where we're getting onto all these topics today. But this is
so Donald Trump's put an end to that. He especially when it comes to commercial licenses.
Yeah,
he's putting a thing forward. I think it was like any licenses that have been given in the past so many years, or whatever, or a DOT can pull over, or a state trooper can pull over a person, and then if he believes that they don't have language proficiency, just straight up, you have to submit to the center. You do a language proficiency test. If you fail, license gone, right there.
Yeah, I mean, where does it end, right? Like, I mean. Welcome. You can come practice medicine. You don't speak English. That's no big deal. No, I want the guy who comes to practice medicine to pass a competency test in English. And it's
get this. So Trump put this forward, and people were immediate. The immediate complaint is, well, then we're going to lose truck drivers, and we're not going to have enough truck drivers on the road. So you know what his answer was? The government is going to subsidize veterans to get their truck driver's licenses. And they can fill the trucks. Sure.
Or I just say that problem is temporary, and the market will adjust because maybe the trucking will finally pay what it's worth to be a trucker. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I'm not worried about that. I do. Let's do what's right and let the market adjust. It's no big deal.
Yeah, but the immediate thing, because like Veterans Affairs, let's just be honest, has not been great. And if we can throw a bone to some veterans that. Here's some training, get you behind the wheel.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's the same argument here. We can't end the temporary foreign worker program, then nobody will work at McDonald's. I'm like, well, then if nobody works at McDonald's, McDonald's will figure it out. Either
Yep.
they'll put robots to make the food, or they'll lower their prices, or they'll pay more, or they'll do something and they'll attract you, or you'll stop eating at McDonald's and it'll be replaced by another business. But that's none of my problem. That's just not, it's not my problem.
How did they have that argument though when there's like 14% unemployment in the youth?
Oh,
Like, just ridiculous.
It's somebody. In fact, this week somebody still published. It was on X. I can't remember who did it, but somebody published a list of what's the step in before getting temporary foreign workers. What's the
LMIA,
the
labor assessment impact or whatever impact
labor impact assessment, right? And you can still go on a website and see where they've been done. And man, like I live in Calgary with that has unemployment of 7% of next to nothing, that's at the 7%. And there's labor impact assessments across the whole province. So apparently the whole province is looking for doesn't have enough laborers, but we have 1 million people that are unemployed. That makes no sense.
You know what they used to have to do, right? So to get a labor market impact assessment, you used to have to, because I have friends that work in restaurants and stuff like that. And they would have to put out an ad in the local papers. They'd have to put a wanted sign on the door. They'd have to make actual efforts and actual interviews with people before they could hire somebody else in from like a foreign person. And that was an issue. So and it would be a lot of work to actually bring in a foreigner for the longest time. And then, Trudeau got in.
Yeah, well, and actually the restaurant business is an interesting one because we mentioned something like McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't need to do one because people will eat at McDonald's. So McDonald's has a product that people want and they'll eat at McDonald's, and McDonald's will be able to charge a pretty good price because necessary to hire people. I saw these labor impact assessments for like a local, Peruvian restaurant. So the local Peruvian restaurant says, I can't find anybody locally who knows how to cook Peruvian restaurant food. So I need to bring in 2 guys to cook Peruvian foods. No, change your model. Change your model. Build a restaurant that provides a food that people want, that you can provide. But if your business model requires you to bring in somebody from another country, you have a flawed business model as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Or go to Peru and open a restaurant. But
or just have less items on your menu, make it simple, and train
whatever.
The locals.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that hard to train the locals how to do like 4 menu items or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be like me saying I want to open a cigar rolling shop, but I don't have anybody locally who knows how to roll cigars, so I need to bring in Cubans to roll the cigars for me. Well, that's a pretty flawed business model.
Yeah.
So how about you provide something else? Just import the damn cigars and then sell them that way. Good enough.
I like it.
That was an episode of Seinfeld, by the way. I don't know what just came to mind, but that was an episode of Seinfeld. Remember where
they did the crepes?
No, there was an episode where Jerry's going to Florida, and Kramer asked him to bring back some Cubans, and Jerry's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll bring back some Cubans for you," thinking he's bringing back Cuban cigars, and then he shows up in Florida, and then there's these 3 Cubans there that Kramer is trying to sneak into the country.
Yeah, and then
anyways.
Then they needed to find them work, so they got them a job at a crepe place.
Right.
And then they were rolling them like cigars, and then they were squirting and burning people.
By the way, I don't know. That's a rabbit hole I went down on YouTube for a little while ago. I used to watch these videos of guys hand rolling cigars. I was fascinated by it. People do it at home. It's a hobby. Some people you can especially in the US, man, if you're in Virginia and places like that, you can buy tobacco leaves or grow them at your place and roll cigars. And I've watched people who got really good at rolling cigars at home.
Wow.
Makes sense, right? It's like anything else. I mean, there's people in the US that make great bourbon at home, great moonshine, and I guess cigars, make their own cigars. I'm waiting for Doug Ford. When Doug Ford is on stage pouring himself an old fashioned and the media applauds him for it as
got to get reverse that propaganda, or else they're going to lose their political careers. Church of Hertz for a $2 super chat. No comment. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I am a conservative boomer. Trish Prue jumping in there with 10 joules. Thank you so much for the gold coin. Really appreciate that. John for $2.79 says, can't wait for home equity taxes on elbows boomers.
I think that I'd bet on that one. I'd say that one's coming. In my lifetime, we will see equity on homes, on the sale of primary homes. I think we will in my lifetime.
Oh, the worst one though is the unrealized equity.
Yep.
Biden tried to bring that crap in. That got squashed real fast in America. But yeah, unrealized equity is this idea that I know you haven't sold your home, but your house is appreciated this much this year. So we're going to tax you on the appreciation of your home.
We'll tax you every year on the appreciation so that we don't have to hit you with one big giant tax when you sell it at the end. Yeah. We'll yeah. Oh, no. The government's appetite for spending and their ability to find new ways is never ceases to amaze me. Finding new ways to tax us just never ceases.
And in Florida, they just got rid of the home tax. I can't wait till they do it here. I hope they do.
Yeah. No, home tax is coming. Capital gains on primary residence is for sure coming. I'm sure they're going to speed up the forcing people to blow down their RSPs and estate taxes. I mean, some provinces already have a fairly high probate / estate tax, but I think it's going to come, and they're going to be increased in more provinces. People think we pay a lot of death taxes. We don't. It's just a lot of assets are deemed to have sold, and you have to pay the gains. But I think the government's going to go one step further.
Yeah, so I think I misspoke. The unrealized gains was on capital gains. Unrealized capital gains was what Biden was bringing on, but I could see them doing it in real estate as well. Myron Ends for 20 says, sadly, a lot of those old houses are actually built better than the new ones. Plus, they have done all the settling into the ground that they ever will. Yeah, old houses.
That's my personal experience. I've owned, I think I've bought 7 or 8 houses in my lifetime. I built one house, and I promised myself I would never do that again. It's a nightmare to build. It's complicated. You think you're getting, everybody goes like, it's custom, it's me, it's that. It's like, yeah, just shop around a little bit more and find something you want. And building is a nightmare. And that's a fact, man. The defects that can show up in the first 2-3 years, buy. Actually, it's like cars. What's a better car to buy, right? If you buy a lease back that's 2-3 years old and has minimal mileage, I mean, it's not as good as new, but it's pretty close.
Oh, it's pretty close. Yeah. So like
certainly depending on the brands, right? Some brands, you buy a certain brand, you buy a Mazda that has 60,000 kilometers on it. What does it really have? Right. And you've let somebody else take all the depreciation. So, and a new home is kind of the same way. People think that they appreciate always, but no, a new home will cost you more than you would sell it for the next day, I dare say.
Yeah, just like cars. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'd agree. As soon as you drive them off the lot, they lose about 20 grand.
Yeah, and a home is the same thing. Over time, the home holds its value, but that brand new home, in the year you sell it, if you sell it in the first year, the guy is not recovering all the taxes and things like that he paid into it. As a new home builder, you're paying a shit ton of taxes that you wouldn't recover if you sold it within 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like when you buy an older home, you just gotta be wary because like maybe you got to put a roof on it in 5 years or less. You know what I mean? Just because it's an older home. So there's like, it's an upkeep and all that stuff. You're gonna have to just watch.
You got to know what you're doing. I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, There's certain used vehicles I would never touch. Like I own a quad. I would never buy a used ATV. I would never buy a used motorcycle because I just know how hard new motorcycles and ATVs are ridden. Even if it looked good, I know it's not but on the other hand, I'd have no problem buying a used boat because I know boats in this country, maybe not in the US, but in Canada, if somebody has a boat, how many hours do you use a boat in a year?
You just don't have the time.
You just don't have the time, right?
Yeah,
and so I would never buy a brand new boat. There's too many good used ones. Plus, you can nowadays a modern boat. You have a meter on the engine. You go look at the engine. Go, wow, this thing has 50 hours.
Well, what are the most common thing that go wrong with boats though? Like, isn't it like
water damage if they've been left out without being stored properly? It's exterior damage and stuff like that. It's not in the engine.
That's always what I hear about it. It was exterior, like poor storage, things like that. Things going rotten.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can talk about boats and cars all day. 440 joules from I think that's North Pole, given the Unk Alert. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And then one more from Myron Ans for $20. Half the reason no one wants to drive truck is because of the ones who can't speak English or drive properly.
Well,
so just dealing with the other truck drivers. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, actually, there's I want to say a couple of things about trucks. I just drove up north, which for me was about an 11-hour drive, and then I came back. So I did 22 hours of highway driving last week, and I made a comment. I used to encounter trucks on the highways in Alberta all the time, and I was never worried about a truck. If you had a big rig on the road, that was a professional driver, a true professional driver. You could pass that rig or he could pass you and you weren't nervous. Nowadays, when I encounter big rigs on the highway, if I got to pass one, I pass it as quick as possible. I don't follow them. I don't get in their way. I just avoid them because the driving quality of the drivers is not the same anymore. It just isn't. But on the flip side, just this week, Alberta announced a major crackdown on that to deal with that problem, and I was happy to see that. Like I'd never heard. I can't remember what they call it, chameleon businesses or something like that. They cracked down. They denied licenses to something like 40 big rig operators in Alberta in the past month. What these guys were doing is when they get enough violations and they're about to lose their license, they just fold. Close the business and then reappear as a new business and transfer all the assets. And the government finally caught on that these guys were avoiding compliance that way. So it's that's a problem.
Ooh, yeah, like cutting holes in the floor so they could just do their business on the road. I've heard
cheating in their logs, and cutting corners, and these guys are being pulled over. I mean, there's so many videos circulating on the internet of like people following big rigs and videotaping them with the wheels wobbling and the sides all ripped up, and you hear about the catastrophic ones. The guys doing U-turns on highways with an 18-wheeler and being smashed into by oncoming traffic. Like that's I don't know if that's what the intent of Myron's comment was, but
yeah, well, it definitely checks out. Out. But Marty, that's it for comments tonight. That's we've been at it for 2.5 hours. So
see, it's reversed now, right? Now it's easier for me, right? Remember, like a year ago, when we did 2.5 hours, I'd be tired because I'd be looking at my watch, going, "Holy shit!" It's 10:30.
Yeah.
Now you're the guy. Now it's what time is it? It's 10 o'clock your time. I'm still a little bit okay, but you can feel it, right? Like that's what. I'm glad we're starting at 6:30 because if we were starting at 7:30, it would now be 10:30 for me, and it would be 11 for you. Yeah, and for our viewers. So okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's 10 now, and not only that, so it's back to school week for us here in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my kids just went back to school. They got a very short summer holiday because they finished in British Columbia, and then so that's end of June, and then back to school for middle of August. And yeah, it's intense. My son's got to be at school for 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, that's fun.
7:30, and my daughter's got to be there.
You have to drive. Wow. Yeah. Cool. Well, we can talk a few minutes offline. So, all right, folks. Well, thanks for calling. Yeah.
And we have one last one right at the last minute from Jevon for $27.99. Thank you so much. He says, Marty, is your camp around Big Bear Land?
Big Berlin. Yeah.
I've worked around that area for around 20 years and only have ever seen one caribou.
Yeah, we are on the Berlin River. Exactly. We are at the end of the smoke. You drive to the end of the Smoky Main, and then you get on the Texaco Road and go to the end of the Texaco Road and quad from there. So I don't want to reveal to too many people, but if you know the area, you know what I'm talking about. So yes, that's where we're at. Yep. Nice. And the government's just
that way. Do you see
what's that?
Do you see caribou out that way?
That's why they're doing this. That's their claim, is that they're doing it to protect the caribou. And what and Javon must have watched my video. What I told people is that the summer range of the caribou is in Jasper National Park, and I see them in Jasper all the time. And then in the winter, they cross the highway and they come into the area where we are. So that's where we hunt, is bordering on Jasper, and so we're in their winter range. And so I don't see them very often because we're not there in the winter. But I do see caribou about once a year in our hunting area, once or twice during a hunting trip. Last year, when they started doing these reclamation of these cut lines, I saw 4 caribou along the highway or along roads. So that was my concern now, is that by demolishing these cut lines, the caribou are confused, and the caribou are walking along the logging roads and the dirt roads and the highway, and they're going to get slaughtered if they continue that habit. So yeah.
So people are telling me, head on over to Wyatt Claypool. He's live streaming right now. Finishing up. Yeah.
Since when?
I don't know, but he's.
Well, he might be doing it on X.
No, he's on YouTube doing a live stream right now on the.
Who's Wyatt fighting with right now? Wyatt's online. He's having a sort of a.
He's fighting with the fat dude from.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is that who he's fighting? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, they're. Okay.
Because that guy. Well, here's how it is. That guy can't make friends anywhere he goes. Everywhere he meets good people, and he just burns bridges everywhere. He burned a bridge with me. He's burned a bridge with you. He's burning bridges with Wyatt. He
was complaining today that he has no engagement on it. So it was interesting. I think I saw that.
What happens when you just do drama with everybody? People just check out and they go, forget it. I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, apparently his I don't know if it was on X or YouTube, but he's complaining about somewhere his viewership dropping off. Well, we can finish that conversation offline. So, all right, folks. Well, thanks for joining.
I was
one more.
I was looking to see if there was a way, because I heard about a way to send the audience over to the other stream. I don't know how to do that, so I'm just gonna put it in the chat. So if over here on YouTube, sorry, I'm just gonna put it in the chat. So if anybody wants to, go ahead over, tell Wyatt that we sent you. Marty and Clyde sent me, say big ups from the Marty and Clyde show. But get on over there and say hey to everybody on that side. And then we've got one last one from Myron Ends for $10, says, I don't watch Fringe anymore. A lot of people are tuning out, man. You can only get lied to so much, and that's it. He's the reason why we stopped doing stuff. He lied on my live stream. So anyway, that's it. Good night, everybody. We'll see you all
next week.